Hello, assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope everyone is doing great.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, brother?
Very good, alhamdulillah. How's everything with you?
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, mashallah. So, mashallah, you did the most difficult task yesterday, the Active Directory
Oh my
one.
God. Yeah.
But you know, it was
The
really, it's not a simple thing to do, and you were able to do it. That is excellent.
I think Ajmal was the one who he showed that he did it. Then I said, if he has done it, then it is possible. Then I started doing. Then I asked him, and then he sent me a video, and then I was able to watch it and do it.
Right. But you did at least 80% of that. So remaining
Yeah.
10,
Alhamdulillah.
15% was. So, after completing such a difficult task, there is that satisfaction. You feel satisfaction, right?
Oh, definitely. Our field is like that. Anything you achieve, you get satisfied, right?
Exactly.
Otherwise,
Exactly.
दिन भर बर्बाद लगता है यार कुछ हुआ नहीं क्या
Yeah,
करूँ
that's true. That is true. That is true. So you can share that video in the group as well, because someone else was asking.
Definitely.
So if you can share the video, that would be great.
Definitely. कल की वीडियो आपने अपलोड कर दी इस पे गूगल ड्राइव पे
Uh, I will upload today. Yesterday I had some problem downloading that video, but the video is there. I can just upload today, inshallah.
इंशाल्लाह
Assalamualaikum Anand bhai. How are you?
Walaikum salam. Very good, Ashish. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, guys, let's start with a quick review. First, let's see what we have covered, and then later today
brother
is the
you have
big
not
day.
started
Yes.
sharing your screen I believe.
Oops. Yes. Without the screen, how can I drive? Okay. So
Jazakallah khair. Yeah,
okay.
now
Okay,
it's coming up. Yeah.
excellent. So by the way, this is your custom lab. So there are two architecture that I will share with you at the end. This architecture plus this is the architecture, second one. So I will later on today will share with you. You need to make this complete infrastructure. Okay. So
Just can we talk about it a little bit? How's it like?
I'll give you a complete document with this. So all the high level instructions, there won't be that step by step, but it's a good architecture. If you're able to do this, that will basically give you another level of satisfaction.
So is it like you create one virtual private cloud and in that you have a public subnet and private subnets and you access from the public to private something?
Exactly.
Okay, good.
Okay, so everyone, we started with chapter 1. We started with chapter 1 around, so this is day 9, which means that we did around 6 weeks and we missed few days as well. But it was an excellent journey into AWS cloud, and before that it was Azure cloud. So this was our requirement. Starting with IAM, we started with. So this is a quick review of what we have covered. So IAM we. IAM is that service now that we know, the way you can create users and you can assign permission, roles, policies within IAM infrastructure. And IAM is not a directory. IAM is not a you can say it's an identity and access management system, but it's not a directory service. In order to have a directory service, you need to install the directory service. As we already know that AWS is compatible with Microsoft directory services and other directory services as well. Then EC2, we understood EC2. In EC2, we know that it's a complete IaaS infrastructure as a service. You can create VMs, delete, edit VM. You can create policies within the VMs. You have different types of VM, and I'm gonna quickly overview all those types of VMs. Basically, all the clouds are based on VM management, and without VMs, we know without VMs, these everything revolves around a VM. So you should have a very good understanding of virtual machines in this environment. Okay, just a second. Okay. Uh, then the next one, S3, the storage service. Within the storage service, there are four different types of storage, and there are few different types of the ways that the pricing models within S3. S3 is a storage service. Now, the main idea behind all this is that when the word comes into discussions in interviews on the floor where you're working, whenever they talk about IAM or EC2 or S3, a complete mind map should open in your brain that S3 is a storage service, and there are two different type of storage that we use in within AWS. There is object level storage, there is block level storage. Then the object level storage is uh, object level storage, which is this S3, and block level storage is EBS. And EBS is the internal storage, object level storage is the external storage. And then there are different type of, there is standard type of S3 storage, then there is intelligent tier, then there is infrequently accessed, then infrequently accessed one zone. So I'm just remembering it from the way we learned in this training, and I want this to be exactly flowing in your brain as well, because this is how you can remember. And the way to remember it, so one, to sketch it on a paper, make a quick mind map with writing S3, and then where is it? So so here S3, and then should be written block level, object level, and then within block level it is EBS, then object level is S3. So it starts with storage, S3. Then within S3 you have standard, then you have intelligent tier, then IA multi-zone, IA one zone, and then we have Glacier, and there are two forms of Glacier Deep Archive. So, and plus from the slide, you can make this complete mind map and then explain it to someone, and that's it. So if you teach it to someone and someone learns it, definitely it will go into your long-term memory, and there, you know, and they can understand what the service is as well. And VPC, we know that VPC is a virtual private cloud. It's a networking. VPC, as we understand, VPC is kind of a switch that it starts with VPC. Everything starts with VPC. You must have a virtual private cloud. Then within virtual private cloud, we can create subnets inside. Other than that, VPC has, so we can create subnets, then we can also set up securities. And within security, there are two types of security: subnet level security, and then there is EC2 instance level security. And then other than that, within VPC, we have load balancers. So we have load balancer. Load balancer, you can have three different types of load balancer: networking, application, and simple load balancer. And then auto scaling, launch templates, and then databases, 4 different type of database, DynamoDB as being a no SQL DB, and RDS being the relational database system. It is very important to understand the difference between the two. And within RDS, you can have different types of databases, which is SQL and then MySQL. Aurora DB, we know that now it's a proprietary database of Amazon. In applications, today we will be learning about SNS, SQS, SES, simple notification service, simple queue service, simple email service, and then functions, step functions. This is mostly theoretical because these are used with the development team. Mostly these are the services that will be that are moving actually towards the DevOps section, but you will have questions around these within the exam as well. So today we'll be going through that. Serverless architecture included Lambda services and API gateways. Lambda service, we know that it's a backend functionality of any application. Again, Lambda is also that service that is not used on the infrastructure architecture side. It is mostly used on the DevOps side, but yes, this is where you have a lot of automation going on, and mostly Lambda. Uh, Plus Beanstalk, if you in depth, they are mostly tested within the architecture, on the architecture level in the architecture exam. But here you will get questions around this. If you can keep that in mind, that Lambda is a service that is a backend service. It's a supporting service. And this is why it is known as serverless service, but it does help the infrastructure. APIs are application programming interface, and APIs are mostly used by third party companies that needs to connect to the cloud. So API is mostly, which is application programming interface. These are those programs that connect to AWS cloud. So always remember that AWS or Azure cloud, if we need to connect to API gateway, APIs are these companies. Let's say a company makes a software, a backup software. For example, there is a famous backup software called Veeam. They make backup tools for all different types of cloud. So they create that API program to connect to AWS cloud. So with the programs that they make, so let's say they made a backup technology to back up the EC2 instances, S3 within AWS, they need some sort of interface, and that interface refers to as API. And where do they get the API? They get the API from AWS, the way to connect to AWS cloud, and on that they make their backup technology or the monitoring technology and different type of programs. So API, application programming interface, is given to these companies that can make these different type of programs.
Okay, small question there.
Yes.
This Veeam, because it's an external thing, do we really need it? Do we have not good backups on AWS itself and Azure itself? So do we need this Veeam?
Yes. Well, both of these technologies, they come with standard version of backups. Azure comes, both of them are, but the thing is, most of the time when people used to work with Microsoft for a longer period of time, the companies that are already working, they're all using these third-party enterprise level backup. So the basic backup is available in the cloud. As you can see, you can just turn on the backup when you create a EC2 instance. When you create a S3, you can just click one and then the backup is being done. But this is enterprise level backup. All these companies that are moving into cloud, it's their decision to go with either the cloud backup or with these third-party backup. So my experience is that most of the time people are going with third-party backups because number one, they are cheaper, on the cheaper side, and
No, they are expensive.
there are, I mean, so yes, I used to think that they are expensive too, but cheaper side, why I'm saying cheaper side, because they have now, so for example, in one of these in one of our project, we implemented Veeam backup. And then in another company, we implemented Commvault backup. And in Office 365, we implemented another type of backup. So when you compare with their the way the cost of the storage, the cost of the cost of the storage, the cost of the service, plus the features that you are getting, these companies provide cheaper and enterprise level service.
You know, we have Office 365, and we tried to find the solution with Veeam. That was very expensive. That's why we are not even doing any backups for Office 365. Everything is on the cloud and whatever they are providing by default.
Yes, yes. So that I understand. And how many users are they are backing up in the cloud? I mean,
104, 104, 105, something like that.
yes. So, and I'm talking about thousands and thousands of users.
Okay.
So if the company is running, I mean, we need to understand that concept. If you buy a service for small number of, it's exactly the same thing. You go to a Walmart and you're buying, let's say, 10 products of the same. I mean, you're buying 10 different products in retail. It's expensive, but when you buy in bulk, it is always cheaper. Okay, so for a company that is buying, let's say 100 licenses as compared to the company that is buying 1,000 or 10,000 licenses, it definitely affects the price. So on the architecture side, design side, we decide that if the clients are anywhere less than 500 employee company or 500 seats licenses, we go with the local native cloud services. Anything that goes beyond 500, then we start working out, seeing going out in the market and see that if there are other products that are available with more features and less price. Okay, so yes,
You
you're
know, we are using Veeam. We are using Veeam for our VMware.
yes,
We do a backup because we don't have that, the advanced features which we have in VMware, and that
exactly.
those things we don't have. So we use Veeam.
Exactly, you answered my question. So there are many companies.
Adnan bhai,
Yes, yes.
we have a solution called Rubric. The Rubric is basically on premises for 5 6 months, and after that it moved to the S3 and S3 to the another glacier, and finally it goes to the glacier. But we are using the same cloud.
You're using in AWS or Azure?
We are using Rubric. So their solution based on S3 AWS, because on 3 months, 3 or 4 months, we are using local data center storage. They put two boxes, huge boxes. They have like 40 terabyte something. After they move the 6 months, they move to the S3. The Rubric
Okay.
solution is based on Amazon AWS.
AWS S3. So they're using S3 as their storage.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Muhammad, you may ask a question.
Yes, so I wanted to know, like for the API you mentioned, so API we can also use for like different platforms, like the application is using Google Maps or some kind of other database.
Exactly. So this API is already being used by all the third party that needs to connect to that needs to connect to AWS or Azure. So API, just remember that whenever the word API comes, it means that it's a connection to a third party software that needs to provide software services to the cloud so that customers can use those services. Yes, so it can be used with any third party. By the way, these
And
companies need to buy API from AWS. So Veeam buys API, then they make a program, then they sell it to the customers so that they can use backup. So going back to Shakil's question, that is it expensive is it expensive buying an other third-party backup as compared to AWS backup or Azure backup? So answer varies, but being an architect and working with the organizations, many organization, and basically on the architecture level, we decide and go with shop around with different technologies. So in my experience, in these software technologies, basically they provide more features. They provide more features, and if you have a huge quantity of licenses that you need to buy, then it is cheaper solution as compared to the local cloud. So at the moment, I would say that these technologies are providing more feature as compared to the native cloud application. So that is why for many organizations, I would say at least 30 to 40% organization are using third party, and other 60% are still using their native services. Okay. Um, Shakil, you have another question on this? Okay. Okay. So
Somebody was here.
someone was here. Okay. So for monitoring, there is CloudWatch and CloudTrail is used, and we know that CloudWatch and CloudTrail is available in everything within with all of the services. With a click of a button, you can enable advanced monitoring features, and you can create alerts as well using the NSS, the notification service. And then there is for the security, we discussed about different type of security levels on in the networking. In networking, we have security firewall, and for the user, we have IMA. You can also integrate this with directory services. So I'm just going through this first slide here just to recap what we have covered, and then we will be learning few new things today. So starting with compute, we learned that EC2 instances, Elastic Beanstalk, and Lambda service. EC2 is a VM. Beanstalk is an application layer where you just set up the environment and you don't need to worry about the infrastructure, just like we learned yesterday. Lambda is backend services. In Azure, this is known as virtual machine. Beanstalk is equal to app services. Lambda is functions. So same thing. What is functions in Azure? That is exactly the same thing in AWS. Storage S3. The storage is known as S3. This is external storage service. Blob is the same service that is in Azure. Blob storage, and then simple storage, simple queue service. Today we will learn about simple queue service and queue storage. It is known, the same service in Azure is called queue storage. We have Glacier, and in Azure it is just a backup vault. If you can remember, it was a backup vault, and these are both are used for archiving data within Azure. In terms of databases, RDS, it's the relational database system. Redshift is a data warehouse service where you can store a huge amount of data, just like in a real life warehouse. You store a huge amount of products, and from there they are distributed where they need to go to. So Redshift is that place where you can store huge amount of data, then you can analyze that data, then you can apply intelligence, and then you can you can have reports on them. Shakil, your mic is not on mute.
It's not me. It's not me. Somebody else.
Sheikh, sorry about that. Sorry about that, Shakil. So right here we have DynamoDB, which is NoSQL. The services in Azure, same services in Azure are known as SQLDB, and then the warehouse service is known as SQL Data Warehouse, whereas DynamoDB is equal to Document DB or Cosmos DB. Nowadays, the Document DB is not used; it is changed to Cosmos DB within Azure. Both services have reserved instances and per hour billing within Amazon AWS, whereas here you can also get enterprise agreement. You can pay for in both of the cloud services. You can buy 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year plan. So if you pay 1 year in front for your complete infrastructure, you can get a discount from anywhere from 50, 60, and 70% discount on the use of services based on how much you can use. I mean, how much you are paying for. So 1 year, 3 year plan in AWS. Within Azure, they just started recently with 5 years plan as well. Uh, and within AWS, they charge per hour billing, whereas in Azure, they charge per minute. In AWS, they also charge per second as well for few of the services. So both of them, this is just pay as you go. This is reserved instances as we go on. For monitoring, there is Cloud Trial, Cloud Trail, and Cloud Watch. And Cloud Trail is basically a service which is where you can log the entities. So CloudTrail is a logging service, whereas CloudWatch is CCTV cameras. So it's like the monitoring station. It's just monitoring and collecting data, and the where it is being collected is CloudTrail. Whereas in Azure, it is known as Azure Operational Insight and Azure Application Insight. So starting with the data center, so we started understanding Azure AWS as a single data center typically houses. So this is type of a data center where you have racks and racks of servers, and inside the racks you have servers. And whereas so single data center can have over 50,000 servers, over 80,000, and often over 80,000 servers, and larger DCs, undesirable. So this is something I don't know, but the main point here is that these data centers are not small data centers. So data centers that we refer to within the within AZs, within availability zone. There are these data centers where they have 50 to 80,000 servers. Then there are availability zone that can have one or more data centers. For redundancy, fault isolation purposes, so your data is stored if you're in a large site, your data will be stored in different data centers so that if one data center goes down, it is available. This is how they provide high availability, 99.119 availability for all your services. And we have regions, AWS regions. Within AWS region, you have availability zones. Within availability zones, you have data centers. And then there are these availability zones. Availability zones are spread across the world, and they are making more and more availability zones and more regions. Within regions, you have data centers. So it's just expanding. It's just started and it will be expanded. There are very less number of availability zones within Middle East. As you can see, there is a lot of places where you don't have a lot of data centers available, and they are just making them out. Even now they are making data centers in the sea, in sea as well. So we started understanding with EC2 instances. We know that EC2, we have this basic. So this is, guys, this is a slide from day one. I'm just going through just a quick review of what we have covered so that we can recap everything here. And so EC2 instances, there is Lambda service and EC2 instance. Storage service, you can stop me wherever you like. You can, if you have any questions anytime, you may ask me. In storage, we have these different type of storage, Glacier, S3, Amazon, EBS storage. You have these slides available. It's good to go through this quick review. Here we have directory service, we have IAM service, then there is Trusted Advisor. Trusted Advisor is just a service that can basically run in your network. It's like a security center in AWS. So as soon as, so first of all, it is paid. Once you switch that on, it will check your complete security of the cloud and provide recommendations. So just like a Trusted Advisor, it will ask you to have a security enabled on this service, or maybe just shut down this port. So it will provide you a complete security inside of your cloud infrastructure. Then you have AWS Configure, AWS Trail, and AWS Cloud. I've not worked with AWS Configure. I'll have to check that out. But Trail and CloudWatch are both monitoring services. For databases, we have DynamoDB, NoSQL, relational database system. Redshift is Amazon. Elasticcache is, we know that it is a temporary memory that works between the database and the application for high throughput. Then we have some management services. This is mostly on the development side. So this is mostly these services are used on the development side, like Cloud Formation, and then Ops Works and Code Deploy. These three services, basically with Cloud Formation, you can completely code your infrastructure. So this infrastructure that I showed you before, this infrastructure, this is an infrastructure where you have to make so this is an infrastructure where you have to make VPCs. So this is one VPC, this is second VPC. Within VPC you have subnets. Then in this VPC you have three different subnets. Then within S3 you have all these three different type of buckets, and then you have subnets in this VPC. So these are three different VPCs, and within VPCs you have a pairing. You need to have peering in between in order to connect. Now, this we can make manually. With a cloud formation, you can just code it, and then after coding, when you run it, this can be made within 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. Cloud formation will automatically make this complete infrastructure. But who codes this? This is coded by DevOps team or the developers. They use cloud formation to code all this infrastructure. So monitor AWS. So this is here it turns infrastructure into a cloud. Into a cloud, use templates to get whole production environments within minutes. So the complete environment you can make within minutes with cloud formation. And then cloud ops work is automated chef puppet deployment on AWS, where in which you can make, so this is the scripting languages where you can make this type of complete deployment, auto deployment, and this is the code. So these are all the services that are used by for automation of cloud. Elastic Block Cloud is block level storage, provides high ops. This is internal storage that can be used within EC2. So you can have multiple EBS volumes within the storage. Then we have Glacier, which is archiving service. We have physical transfer data. Snowball is that service in which you can move a huge amount of data into cloud. So how many ways you can move data into cloud? Let's say a large company moving into AWS. There are two ways. One is that you upload it to the cloud using your direct connect or the site-to-site VPN. But if it is a huge amount of data, like terabytes of data, then companies can utilize Snowball. And Snowball is a complete storage disk that is provided by AWS. They will send it to you. You will copy that just like a USB, and then you will send it back to the nearest data center, and they will upload that data from their own using their own infrastructure. There is Storage Gateway. Storage Gateway provides seamless integration between your on-premises server and AWS infrastructure. So Storage Gateway is just like the word storage and the gateway. Gateway means that it is a connection between S3 and your data center. So we have a huge S3 storage and we need to connect it to our SAN storage on premises. We can use Storage Gateway. So whenever the word gateway comes, it is a device that is connected between on premises or the internet anywhere outside your cloud. So Storage Gateway is that device, just like API Gateway. API Gateway is that connection between the third-party organization and the cloud. So that's API Gateway. This is Storage Gateway, and just like Internet Gateway. And Internet Gateway is that device that connects between the network and the internet. So always remember, whenever the word gateway is used, it is a device, it is a service, and not only in AWS, everywhere. It's everywhere. So there are VPN gateway, there are Citrix gateway, there is a messaging gateways. So wherever
So
you
the
use this word, yes.
sorry. So if we talk about storage, so does it store something?
No, it doesn't store anything. It's just a door between a connection between your S3 and your SAN on premises.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
So
I
it's
was
just
under the impression if we talk about storage gateway, it is storing something.
no, yes. So it is for the storage service, but it's a gateway. So it's just a door.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. Then we have database system, relational database system in AWS. It can we can you can work with SQL database, Oracle database, MySQL database, and Amazon Aurora, then Postgres and MariaDB. So these all types of database can be integrated with RDS within Amazon Cloud, AWS Cloud. Then we have Aurora DB, which is based on MySQL, but better performance than MySQL. So this is a proprietary product of Amazon, and it gives a better database functionality, as you can see, 5 times faster than normal MySQL. So this database is not, I mean, so for now, they have only released a version that is MySQL compatible or Postgres SQL compatible. So both are smaller databases, and I think in future they'll be launching Microsoft SQL and Oracle level databases as well.
I think there was something called Kinetic, which was like for some live, because I was just going through some questions, and in the question there was something Kinetic for related to the databases for live environment or something like that.
Kinetic.
Or something. So I'm pronouncing the name wrong, but there are some questions
Kinesis.
or Kinetic. Huh?
No, it's Kinesis.
Kinesis. Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, Kinesis. Today we will be covering that. Kinesis is just that service. That converts one form of video to another form. So we will be covering that today. Kinesis is that service. So here Aurora DB, then there is then there is a relational database system, non-relational database system, no SQL system, which is non-structured data. Then we have Elastic Cache. Elastic Cache it works between the user and the database, and to actually provide a faster database transaction. Then there is Redshift, which is fully managed petabyte of storage data warehouse service. Or here you can so the data will be stored in Redshift, and you can analyze that data, and based on those analysis you can make reports, and also it is used for artificial intelligence and all that. VPC is a networking service, virtual network service. It's a switch that is created within, so it's a isolated network that is provided for your services. Then we have direct connect, that is a connection between AWS and your on-premises environment. So it's a direct connect. So there are two different type of connections. Number one is direct connect. Number two is site-to-site VPN. Then we have Route 53, which is a domain name system. So it provides a standard organization name to your all AWS services. Just like yesterday, you need to buy that name, or if you already have a name, you can move it to AWS Cloud and you can start using it. CloudWatch is that service for monitoring service. Then we have CloudFormation. CloudFormation is just a complete scripting of an infrastructure where you can build infrastructure within minutes just by running a code. It is also known as IaaC, which is referred to as infrastructure as a code. So this is infrastructure as a code, just like IaaS and PaaS and SaaS. So this is also known as infrastructure as a code. So what you do, you just write lines and lines of codes. It will use templates. So for example, you may need to make 100 EC2 instances. You must have a template ready from the EC2 instance. It will just go create these 100 EC2 instances, then 10 S3 buckets, then make roles and make connections between all of them, and your infrastructure is ready, instead of making the infrastructure manually. Now you might say that whenever we make an infrastructure, it is basically, it's not an everyday thing that we make an infrastructure. So why this type of service? And when you're making an infrastructure, there has to be some, some planning and designing and all that, and it takes time to make sure that infrastructure is being built and then making sure that it is ready for the production environment. So guys, cloud formation is a service that is used for disaster recovery type of scenarios. It is not used for so disaster recovery or test and dev and test deployment, dev and test environment, where you need to just build the infrastructure, you complete your testing, and then you shut down your infrastructure, because you know that just building a test infrastructure and then keeping it there for a longer period of time, so that you did some testing this month and then you don't have a time, then you have a testing coming after 3 months. So this will be a waste of lot of revenue, and lot of it, there will be a lot of cost for that infrastructure in order to keep that for 4 months, and within 4 months you're just using it in 2 months, first month and the last month. So instead, you can script all your environment, do your testing, and then shut down that environment, and then you can build that again after 3 months and complete your testing. So this is a very, very good service in that sense. CloudTrail, it's a logging service, so it logs everything. So AWS S3 service, with as soon as you switch on this, so everything will be logged inside within this environment, and then that can be used for reporting purposes or auditing purposes. For CLI, command line interface, we installed a CLI. We worked with CLI as well. And for CLI, you just need to install CLI, AWS CLI within Windows machine. In Linux machine, it is already installed and you can work with that. You can also install AWS CLI on your machine by just downloading that software, and then you can work with that software. Then there is Opswork. This is configuration management tool where they make, this is for test, this is for the DevOps team. So for their development purposes, there is trusted advisor is personal assistant to you for AWS infrastructure, just like Security Center. Within identification and authentication management service, you can create users, you can assign access to different entities. Then we have create and manage encryption keys to encrypt the data inside. We had a lab on that as well, where you can make your own keys, customer level keys or AWS keys. You can store them in key management system. Now, when you have so many keys and you need to encrypt them so many times, for that reason, you have to have a KMS system. In Azure, this is known as Key Vault, where you can store keys. And this, the main purpose of this is encryption. It encrypts the file, it encrypts the folder, it encrypts the EC2 instance, so that no one other than the person having the key can open it. Even the cloud administrator won't be able to open it if there is no key, if the key is not assigned to administrator. So the only person that will be able to decrypt that service will be the one that is assigned that key. So it's a security system. Then we have simple email services. Email services, it is bulk emailing to the to your infrastructure. So if you need email services within AWS cloud, SES can be used for emailing. And this is just this is a basic level emailing system. It is not like it cannot replace Gmail. It cannot replace your Office 365 email. This is just a emailing service that is used for notification purposes, for alert purposes within the infrastructure. So it provides that mailing interface. So let's say you created an alert saying that as soon as your billing goes above $20, and you should receive an email. So it's that email service that will take that alert, and you will receive that email. So it's that it's a very small level of emailing service. It cannot replace an enterprise level email services. Simple queue service is it's queuing services which acts as a buffer. So here, this is used for list tasks, and then it is used for different applications. Now, what type of queuing service is this? So we are all aware of queuing service. If I can give you an example of WhatsApp. So within WhatsApp, what happens when we send a message to someone? So when we send a message to someone, the other person will get only on their side one tick, then they get a second tick, then it turns to blue. So this is how you know that the message is sent. So this is how you know the message is sent. So now when the message is sent to someone, and the other person and you're getting just one tick on your side, this means that it is sitting in a queuing service. So it is sitting in a queue. As soon as the other person is available, then the message is delivered. That is when it is out of the queue. So the queue is so in AWS, queue is exactly that service that queues messages between applications. So if there is a workflow system, so there are services working together. So all types of queues are made are can be used for all types of development within AWS cloud. The main purpose is that all the messages will be queued here, and then one by one each message will be delivered where it needs to go to. So queuing service is used for that, and I will go into a little bit more detail in shortly. So guys, this is what all we covered within our journey of AWS. So this was a quick recap what we have covered here. And so here, true and false for you, just it's a innocent type of question. So each region has one big data center known as availability zone. Is this true or false? Please write that in the chat window. So what do you think the answer? Whatever answer you think, just type in the chat window if it is true or false. So each region has one big data center known as availability zone. Okay. So we said that each region has one big data center known as availability zone. So why do you think it is not true, Shakil?
I think there should be multiple, right? Each region has one big data center. Now, each region should have many big data centers, right?
Exactly. We just saw that.
Ah,
That each region, so each availability zone has many different data centers. So not just one data center. So it has
correct.
many data center. Then we have an availability zone can have two or more regions. So availability zone can have two or more regions, which
Yes.
is so availability zone can have two or more regions. This is false as well. Why? Because the region has availability zones. So availability zone doesn't have regions. So first you have region, then inside region you have availability zones inside. Netflix is rapidly using. Okay, so this is so Netflix is using AWS for their services. Okay, now comes to, so I'm gonna just today's lecture. So today we are, starting with day one, we just did a quick review of all of the services, and this is what we have reviewed from the storage S3 security groups, Glacier, S3 bucket, lifecycle management, RDS, Aurora DB, VPC, subnets, routers, internet gateway. There are so many services that we learned in this training, guys. I would say the easiest way to remember, easiest way to go through all these services is just making mind maps. This is how I remember them because there are so many services, and focus on. So for now, for next, I would say next few weeks, or maybe for 2 or 3 months, just focus us on everything that you have learned in this training. I mean, there might be many new names that will be coming around you. People might be talking about, but in order to be an expert, just focus on the services that you have learned and try to become an expert of only these services at the moment, because these services are the core services that will take you towards an architecture level. The reason I'm saying is it is very easy to get distracted in cloud technology. Like you might be thinking of now DevOps, you might be thinking of maybe the cloud formation on how this is all automated and what are the other services. But I would say you have learned Azure, you have learned services in Azure, you have learned in AWS, and you will be learning GCP as well. So for now, focus only on these services. Try to become an expert. So sketch them each and every service, make a mind map of each and every service, and then make a huge big mind map of everything. So here you have virtual private connection, subnets and routers, and then you have IAM services. Then we discussed about Route 53 and then
Small
Elastic Load
question.
Yes, please go ahead.
Sorry. All these videos which you have uploaded like on the YouTube, will you be taking them off or like they will stay there?
No, they'll stay there. They are all
Okay.
my videos, all my previous lectures is
Yeah, if they are staying there, then it's no problem. Because I was thinking like if it is going to be offloaded, then maybe we should download them and keep it with us.
you can download them as well. I think they'll be just there as long as there is as long as my account is not hacked. So at one time my account was hacked too. So and somebody deleted all my videos. So then I had to make.
But brother, I think it's a bit difficult. You have to struggle to download them, convert them, so many things. Maybe if you can upload them to some Google Drive, we can download it.
No, there are two.
No, I think YouTube is pretty secure. Like, don't worry about whether it will be there.
Exactly. It will be
Okay,
there. So
inshallah,
it was that rare incident that somebody logged in and deleted my videos, but it's pretty secure now. So I have MFA
Okay.
enabled on my account.
I know there are third-party softwares. I know, and I have done it before, but it's just too much of
MFA is
work.
Shakil, you have to pay after 1 month. Okay, try to learn before this.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So yes, there are these third-party software. Ashar just mentioned YouTube Downloader. With that downloader software, you can download everything in one shot. You don't have to download each and every video one by one. Okay, so guys, today we are learning SQS, SWS, SNS, and Elastic Transcoder, Kinesis, and final project. So first of all, SQS service. SQS service is a simple queue service, and it's fully managed messaging queue service that makes it easier to decouple and scale microservices. Guys, SQS is a queuing service. So the main reason behind SQS, it is used with, you can get started with SQS in a matter of minutes using AWS console or SDK and use your choice and just 3 simple commands. SQS lets you eliminate the complexity and overhead associated with managing, operating dedicated messaging software and infrastructure. So it's a queue service which is used between AWS services. Messages are queued according to their requirement, but you might be thinking that where would you need a queuing service? So queuing services is mostly used by DevOps or the development or wherever you have automation. So in automation, services are talking to each other and they are sending messages to each other. So these messages are all queued, and one by one, these messages are sent where they need to send to. So for example, making an infrastructure, EC2 instance. So when you are doing automation, or let's talk about Beanstalk. Yesterday we built a Beanstalk, and in Beanstalk, what happens is you just create a Beanstalk service. Then you select an environment. Let's say you're making a .NET environment, and after that we saw that it was making 10 different services within AWS. So it was making EC2 instances, setting up auto scaling, and setting up security groups. So in everything, SQS is being used in the background, where it needs to make sure if the EC2 instance is ready, then it needs to display there on the screen that EC2 instances are ready. But that is used, so you can imagine that how many hundreds of messages are queued within SQS service. So SQS use case is general terms, asynchronous processing, where you have separating user interaction with data and object processing, separating short processes from longer running processing, unpredictable data flow. So it's a queuing service that will be used. So there are two types of queues that that you need to remember for exam purposes. Number one, standard queue, and number two, FIFO queue, which is first in, first out delivery. Standard queue will be used for if it gives you high speed, it will be high speed. It is standard queue that is nearly unlimited transactions per second, and at least once delivery, a message is delivered at least once, but occasionally more than one copy of the message will be delivered. And in here, occasionally messages might be delivered in order different from where they are being sent. So this is standard queue will send you random messages, whereas FIFO queue will make sure that each and every message is going in sequence. And it is the order in which the messages are sent and received are strictly preserved. And exactly once processing, the message is delivered and remains available until a consumer processes that message and deletes duplicates are not introduced in this. So this is more this is a more sophisticated queue as compared to just a standard queue. So standard queue is free, whereas FIFO queue is paid. So these are two different type of queues there. So whenever there is in the exams, when the question talks about a precise delivery, one-to-one delivery, sequential delivery, then it will be a FIFO queue. If it is just a simple queue where the precise delivery is not required and it requires high speed of messages, obviously here if you're going in sequence, it will not be as speedy as this one, where you're just sending all the messages and one message can be delivered twice as well, or maybe the message is dropped as well. So this is a standard queue. This is first in, first out queue. Standard queue overview delivers each message once, does not guarantee only once, and does not guarantee first in, first out. And flow of the message inserted and receives, and message retrieved, timed out, visibility, clock started, message remains in the queue, and message retriever deletes the message once completed. Visibility, timeout, and delays are, which is optional, delays message invisible during delay period of 0 to 900 seconds, and visibility time is up to 12 hours. So message will stay there for 12 hours in the queue. And message is so visibility time is right here, which is invisible during the delay period, which is 0 to 900 seconds. So this is about when the message is being read from the block, and messages are very slow. These are not very huge large messages. Message file messages are very small. Once it is delivered, it is deleted from the queue. There is a queue. You need to name the queue, and there is a URL, and it is 120K maximum message in queue, which is in flight, which is messages are being transmitted. Queue access within the IAM and cross account non-IAM based on SQS policies and public. Then there are these messages size is maximum 256K, message. So you can see that it's a very small message. Then there is retrieval standard return immediately. So this is a good for maybe you want to go through this when you're going for the exam. For Fifo Queue, it is launched in 2016. Messages delivered in sequence of insertion. You have delivered once and only once. Differences from standard queue is limited to 300 TPS transaction per second. Then support message batching of up to 10 messages per batch and required messages group ID. The price for the queue is right here. So standard is 0.40 cents, whereas FIFO is 50 cents and per instance pricing. And there is for IO purposes, this is standard goes to 1 million and FIFO first in first out, total monthly GB per hour. Free in the free tier, it is available for 740, 42 micro plus 1 GB per month. So message queue service is just a queuing service that is used between services. So two important things to remember is for the exam purposes, standard queue and FIFO queue. So two things, if you can keep this picture in mind, these are random messages that are sent to, and whereas this is FIFO is sequential messages. Then you have second service that is known as simple workflow service. Simple workflow service is fully managed workflow services for building scalable, resilient application. Amazon SWF. Anyone has ever worked with workflow services in the past? Okay, so workflow service, everyone, workflow service is referred to as where human interaction is required. So in the queue service, in this so simple queue service, there is no human interaction required. So you get message, and so you get a message. So SQS is a service that is automatic service. So on this side you have EC2 instance, and on this side you have let's say S3. The message is queued, create an instance, it goes inside, and it is sending a data to S3. It is sending a data to S3. Or maybe you have an automated system that you make a new, let's say a Beanstalk service. So on this side, you have a user, and on this side, you have EC2 instance, and a user is initiating Beanstalk service. So Beanstalk service right here, as soon as we initiate, the messages goes into message queue that build an EC2 instance. As soon as it reaches this EC2 service, it starts building the instance from template, gets a template, and build a EC2 instance. Then it will send back a message within SQ that the EC2 instance is built. And on the Beanstalk dashboard, you will see that EC2, there are 5 EC2 instances made for this service. So this is a queue service. It's an automatic service. But what the workflow service is where human interaction is involved. So workflow in general, so management work with a workflow system, and workflow in general is where you need human interaction. So it's exactly like in the packaging factories where humans are. So the packages or maybe the chairs are being made, but they have to be put into boxes or maybe wrap them with the plastic and all that for packaging. So that type of system in which there is automation on one side and it is being automated, but somebody has to do something here, and then it will be transferred to. So this is known as a workflow system. In the real environment, this workflow system will be, let's say you need to create an instance, EC2 instance, and this EC2 instance cannot be created without the approval of the management. Let's say without the approval of a manager. So then in that case, we will create create a workflow system. Our workflow system will be someone needs to go into the console, someone needs to go into a workflow system, will fill up a form that saying that I need two EC2 instances, and the request will be submitted. So instead of going to an automatic system, an email will be sent to the manager, and the manager will check their emails, and the manager will have two options like allow or reject, or accept or reject. So once if it is accepted, then the message will be sent to the EC2 service, where EC2 will be instance will be made. So this is known as a workflow system. In a workflow system, so going back to the definition, in a SWF is a fully managed workflow service for building scalable, resilient application. SFW provides simple API calls that can be executed from the code written in any language and run on EC2 instances or any of your machines located anywhere in the world that can access the internet. AWS acts as a coordination hub with which your application hosts interact. You create a desired workflow with their associated services and conditional logic. So this is conditional logic where you can have human interaction. So just like the one example that I give you, accept or reject, or maybe there is, so maybe in a Beanstalk service, you need to add some configuration manually. So instead of going for a fully automatic system, you will add that piece there for AWS SWF, which is a workflow system. So just for general remembering, it is anything that requires human interaction. Within a workflow, you coordinate tasks and logical units of work, and it can contain digital and physical tasks as well, history tracks, individual workflow states. And workflow contains actors, which is starter, decider, and activity. Starter, where you starts the workflow, begins the individual workflow. First of all, you need to make a workflow, then there will be a starter who needs to initiate this. So I am the admin, I need to initiate this, then decider, coordinate tasks. So it is exactly the same thing. What I said, an email goes to a manager, can accept or reject. And activity worker is a single execution operation of a workflow. EC2 instance will be made. Once you say accept, the request goes to EC2 service. From a template, EC2 instance will be made. Manages intertask dependencies, scheduling, it is concurrency in conformity with workflow definition. Workflow can operate sequentially and in parallel. So it can be both, and used heavily with Amazon in its internal operations. As being a cloud admin, as being a cloud architect, we don't see this service much. This service, SQS service, will be mostly used with the DevOps team. And the way it looks like, so I've not seen this in working with workflow system or the queuing, even the queuing service. So these are DevOps. This is heavily used within the DevOps infrastructure, but I think there will be questions around this. So for that reason, you need to remember what the services are, what are the terminologies used here. So here you have starter, decider, and worker, which is kickoff workflow, any application. It can be any application. It can be starter, can be any application. It can be human interaction as well. Decider is controller, it controls coordination of task, ordering, and concurrency. Whereas you have worker, which gets task, executes work, and return results. So here is an example of simple workflow system. You have a decider, which is a workflow system. It goes in, and here you have maintains distributed application states and tracks workflow execution. Just like Beanstalk, we have seen as soon as you initiate a Beanstalk service, it gives you a complete flow of what it needs to do. The only difference is that we never made that workflow never made that sequence. It is automatically done. Remember that we selected a sample application, and based on sample application, it automatically uh, executed the complete operation for us. So so the difference between SQS and SWF is that SQS is an automatic queuing service. It receives messages, it just sends out message, whereas SWF is a complete workflow system where you need some sort of human interaction in between. So you will select this service for workflow activity. Or here you have workflow activities, different type of workflow activities you can run and make. Then we have simple notification service. Simple notification, just like the word says, it's a notification service. We use that service with the billing alert. So when we created that billing alert, so all we did, we went into the billing and we created a billing alert saying that as soon as it reaches uh, $10, as soon as it reaches equal to the billing is equal to $10 or greater than $10, then there should be a notification created, and that email will be sent to us to our email address, internal or external. So this is what notification service is. And in notification service, the important thing is the topic. So we create a topic can be a means of sending that message. The topic can be either email or it can be SMS service as well. You can set up a SMS service. So this is what notification service is. By definition, Amazon Simple Notification Service is a flexible, fully managed, it is pub and sub messages, which is mobile notification service for coordinating the delivery of messages for subscribing endpoints and the clients. With SNS, you can fan out messages to a large number of subscribers, including distributed systems, services, mobile devices. It is easy to set up and operate. We did that with billing alert. Notification can be created, defines a topic. So the topic that we define, whatever the topic is, the billing topic, and access control via policies, asynchronous messages, push or not pull messages. The message can be 256K in size. Notification recipient can be mobile devices, email services, SMS, or simple. It can be sent to queue or it can be sent to Lambda function as well, so that it can be used by other services. So here you have billing set up, and here you will create a topic, and the topic can be any one of these services. So billing service, Lambda service, or a queue service, and it is stored within the storage and sent to the user. 1 million notification per month is free, and per million notification is 0.50. Each is 64K pay load, which is portion of counts as per notification. Data transfer is 1 GB per month, and GBs are descending scale. So this is some pricing for notification services. Kinesis is a service that makes it easy to collect and process, analyze real-time streaming data, so you can get timely insights, react quickly to new information. Okay. So Kinesis is a service. Kinesis is a service that is basically works with streaming data, guys. So this is the word is streaming data. Streaming data is any type of huge amount of data that you receive from any type of application. If I can show you a diagram. Okay, there is no diagram here. Okay, so streaming data can be from with Amazon Kinesis. You can ingest, or you can inject with real-time data such as video, audio, application logs, websites, clicks, stream, and IoT, which is Internet of Things. So this is IoT, is Internet of Things. So Kinesis works like this, guys, based on so one of the example that I've seen within the real environment. So what we do is we receive a huge amount of data from anywhere. So we have an application, Instagram application. So Instagram application. And here you have millions and millions of users. They are sending out, they are storing data within Instagram, and all the data is being stored within the storage, whatever type of storage they are using. It could be, let's say, S3 storage. And from there, that data, and what is that type of data? Their posts, their audio messages, video messages, everything is being stored here. Now, streaming data in here, it can be video. So within Kinesis, you can store video, real-time data, and you can store videos, audios, websites, or wherever the users are clicking within the application. And what you can do, so in S3, it will be a normal type of data for the user. So S3 will be storing my profile. So I have a profile in Instagram. My data is stored in S3, and another user's data is there. So our data is stored in S3. So I'm just giving you an example. They might be storing it somewhere else, but S3 is used for individual type of storage for different type of user. So what happens with the overall data? So the overall data, meaning that how many users are, so users are sharing that audio message. That audio message is multiplied into, let's say that audio message went viral and it was sent to 1 million users. So what can you do with that type of data? That type of data goes into Kinesis. So in Kinesis, what this data, once this data is right here, you can analyze, you can enable you to process and analyze data as it arrives and responds instantly, instead of having to wait until all the data is collected before the processing being done. So this service is used by these organizations to collect all these data. So this is one one example, that someone shared one video message or audio message, and it is being sent, and it is being sent to all the other wherever it needs to go to. But here with Kinesis, you can do intelligent analysis as well. So if, let's say, on Instagram or Facebook, people are clicking on what type of messages or what type of ads within Facebook or Instagram. So the type of information that is received, that this person is interested in what type of videos. So this person is interested in what type of videos or audio messages. So that all data will be stored in here, and based on this data, more and more ads will be provided to this user. So if this person is interested
It's
in
just like an
something,
all-in-one manager, essentially, right, Anand?
which one?
This thing is basically like an all-in-one manager of like all the services available, essentially.
Exactly. So
Okay.
it does analysis on the types of information, and it's a huge amount of information. It's not just like Kinesis is not used for small scale. It is used on large scale information and analysis, and based on the analysis, there are decisions taken automatically. So this is how we get Facebook messages. I'm interested in some type of laptop. As soon as I click that message, for the next few weeks, I keep on getting different vendors that are selling that same type of service. So this is
So
where.
does it pretty much run like a VM, essentially, with like processing on it and all that kind of stuff?
So it's a AWS cloud service. So you won't be working with the VM. It's just a service that
I
needs to
mean,
be.
like for example, it's like a VM, but with like which will take like openly take like all kinds of inputs related to whatever data you have uploaded in containers or whatever it might be, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. No, but what I was asking was, is it like you know how we actually deploy an instance and stuff like that? Do we have to like deploy it as like with processing speed and stuff like that? Would it cost how much of stuff we
Yes,
put in
for
it in
sure.
terms of that?
For sure, yes. So once we go into Kinesis, you can create a requirement, and within the requirement, you need to tell, is it a small requirement or is it a large requirement?
Right.
So
Okay.
based on that, you will be charged.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense.
So Amazon Kinesis, it's a data streams enables you to build custom application that process and analyze streaming data for specialized needs. And Kinesis data streams can continuously capture and store terabytes of data per hour, and from hundreds and thousands of sources such as websites, click streams, financial transactions, social media feeds, IT logs, and location tracking events and all. So, and it was launched in 2013. Program attached to streams to process and direct data, and typically light processing due to transfer volume. So here you have data received by shreds. Okay, so in Kinesis there are shreds within. So I think this can be better explained with a architecture diagram. So shreds is basically pipelines where you can stream data into. So if I can show you. So here, and also I need to see. Yes. So so basically this is what is known as shreds. So shreds are different pipelines within Kinesis. What happens is you can have a one shred of only audio type of files, one shred of a video type of files, and one shred of maybe different type of application. And within a shred, what you can do, you can process that type of message, and that will be sent to wherever it needs to send to. So shreds is basically a pipelines within Kinesis used. So in here, you can see, where is it? So here you can see different type of shreds here. The records are going into, and shreds are basically just pipelines where you can separate different type of data that requires different type of processing. Now, why would it require different type of processing? So audio message can be converted into many different forms, and video message can be converted into many different forms. So video message that is displayed on a mobile devices has a different has a different type, whereas compared to the video message that is displayed on computers. So shreds are those pipelines where you can stream in that data, and that can be divided into different type of records, and they are processed according to the type of record. So now, keeping that in mind, Kinesis stream shreds are data received by shreds. Ingest is 5 TX per second, whereas 2 MB per second. Here you have output 1000 records per second. Total capacity of stream is based on number of shreds, and data stored in stream is 24 hours, and default is 7 days maximum. Shreds can be divided and combined into managed traffic flow. You have data fire host. So there are three different type of Kinesis available. So there is Amazon Kinesis data fire hose is the easiest way. I have a diagram somewhere. This will be much more understandable. So this is how it looks like for Kinesis. Kinesis, you can receive, so this is a Kinesis stream. You can receive data from EC2 instances in the form of videos. You can receive it from the mobile devices, from other devices as well. And so the data will be stored, the data will be sent into Kinesis. It will be divided into different type of shreds, and then after processing, it will be sent to EC2 instances where they need to send it to wherever it needs to be stored. So if it is going into Redshift, it will be sent to Redshift. If it is going to EMR. We will see what EMR is in a moment. And so it can be stored in S3 or DynamoDB. So these are,
This is the real-time data.
this is a real-time data, the data that is being transferred real time. So the other example is this diagram. So Kinesis fire hose is another type of Kinesis. So there are two different type of Kinesis there, fire hose and the production. So in this case, what happens is that all the data is stored in Kinesis, and it is being processed and sent out on S3. So it is being stored in S3 or whatever service it needs to be sent to. So in this case, so keeping that diagram in mind, excuse me. So Kinesis Firehose is the easiest way to load streaming data into data store and analytics tools. It can capture, transform, and load streaming data into S3. Redshift, Amazon, Elasticsearch, and Splunk. So these are different software that can analyze the data, enabling near real-time analytics with existing business intelligence tools and dashboards you're already using today. So which is, and it can think real-time ETL. So it can be used for ETL. ETL, we know that it is extract, transform, and load. So converting different type of data from from one type of database to another type of database, one type of video to another type of video. Massive data injection can be used within this. Then we have analytics. So analytics is just to analyze that data and whatever. So it can be SQL data converting into MySQL, or it can be just video files being converted to other format. So this is type of analysis that can be done in Kinesis. So in general, what we need to remember about Kinesis, it's a service that is used for analyzing huge amount of data, and it can do ETL, the conversion as well, and it does that in real time. So unlike a warehouse service or a Redshift where you store that data, it will be stored for a longer period of time before it is being processed, or maybe it is just stored there and it is not being processed. Kinesis is a system where you need real-time decisions made. So maybe it can be used for CRM applications. The data is coming in, or the marketing data, and you're making business decisions on that type of data. API gateway, everyone, is defined as, we talked about this, API gateway API. It defines and offer API gateway, manage API gateway, throttling service, cache response, pass messages to AWS services, Lambda, manage API gateway. Where is the definition? Okay. So API gateway, we need to remember. Okay. So API gateway, everyone, is this service. So first of all, in order to understand API gateway, we need to know what is API. So API is a service. So API stands for Application Programming Interface, number one. And APIs are made by third-party organizations, so third-party companies. They make software that they need to sell it to different companies. But before they can sell it to the company, they need to get the API, they need to get that application from the cloud provider. So APIs are provided by AWS. as well as Azure, as well as GCP. They all provide API interface to the third-party organization. So the one example that I already gave you is Veeam. They buy API service, and based on that service, they make a software, and then they provide it to the customers who needs to use them. So now customers have two choices when they back up their system. They can use the native AWS backup, or they can use the Veeam backup. The Veeam backup that they are using is basically made up of all APIs. So APIs will be mostly used between the third-party organization and AWS. APIs are not used between your on-premises data center and AWS. So mostly it will be used between these organizations, or maybe if your company is a software development company, then they will be using API with different type of clouds.
So API is a service for AWS or?
API, yes, API is a service from AWS. So you can think of this as, let's say there is a game. Let's say there is a game that is famous, and you're saying that, you know, I can make some improvement in this game. I can add some code in this game that can make this game make this software or application uh, uh, I mean provide more features within this application or a game. Now, in order to make changes in this game, you need to get some sort of software or some sort of connection between your application and with this game. So that connection that you get is known as API. So without that connection, you cannot add any features within their application. So this is why it is known as application programming interface. They will sell you that, the owner of this application will sell you that small program with which you can connect to their application and add more features. So since you're adding more features, this application, you can sell it to more and more customers. So to answer your question, API is a service within AWS that will be bought by these companies. Then they can make some more feature, add some more features, and then it can be sold to their customers. But this API, they need to buy it from AWS, and it is so they first buy that application programming interface, and from there they will add few features, and then it will be added to sold to the customers.
Thank you.
Okay, you're most welcome. So API
But brother Adnan,
yes.
sorry, the API maybe it could be for Azure also, right?
Yeah. So all the cloud providers provide APIs. All cloud providers, because without API, you cannot inject something in their software.
Correct, because you just mentioned that it's from AWS. So I thought, no, it should not be from AWS. It can be from any cloud provider, right?
Yeah, it is. It is also, yes. So it is from all the cloud providers. So API interface. I mean, we are accessing this service. So I am a user. I'm making S3 as a storage. Okay. So as accessing the S3, I don't need API. I just need a login and I can start using it. But API is basically used, you're basically adding some code inside their application. So this is where API will be used. So the company, yes.
It could be something like, you know, maybe my software is providing some sort of service, but I need to provide for AWS. So maybe I have to interface my solution with the AWS. That will be API, something like that, right?
Exactly, yes. So API is that software with which you can penetrate into their code and add some feature and then sell it to the customers. Okay. So, but a normal user, we don't use APIs. So it is only used for development purposes. So right here, the cost for this is 3.50 per million calls with your software. So this is 3.50 cents per million calls. First million calls per month free for the first 12 months, and data transfer out is 0.09 per gig per month, descending on volume, and cache memory is per hour is this. So this is information for developers. Once they buy this API, they need to keep that in mind as well. for per million calls. And you might be thinking that this million calls seems a huge number of calls as compared to the $3 cap on this. But guys, when the programming interface is working, it is like so when you're backing up with Veeam, you will be backing up thousands of servers, or maybe if not thousands, you're backing up let's say 500 servers. If you're backing up 500 servers, there are million calls. I mean, there can be, I mean, I don't know, a huge number of calls, more than even million calls going on. So this price seems I mean, this price is there, but the transaction costs to the software can be huge. So my point is that this is the pricing for AWS API. Then we have Elastic Transcoder. Elastic Transcoder is a media transcoding service to the cloud. It is designed to highly scalable, easy to use, cost effective way to developers, business to convert, transcode media files from their source format into versions that will be played. So Transcoder simply is a service that basically converts one type of video into another type of video. So that's what that is. It will transcode, it will I mean, so let's say this video, I mean, our video is mp3 format, and I need to run this video on different type of devices. So it needs to be run on a laptop, it needs to be run on Android phone, it needs to be run on a iPhone, it needs to be run on a iPad or a different tablet. So uh, Transcoder is a service. You will just provide a video and it will be converted to all different formats automatically. So that's the main purpose of Transcoder service. So it's playbacks the devices like smartphones, tablets, and PCs. A Transcoder manages all aspects of the media transcoding process for the transparently, automatically. There is no need for administrator software, skill, hardware, tune performance, otherwise manage transcoding infrastructure. You simply create a transcoding job and simply location of the source media file, and you want to transcode, and you provide transcoding preset for the popular output format, which means that you don't need to guess about which setting work best for particular device. And all these features are available via Service API, AWS SDK, and console. So if you can keep that in mind, whenever the video conversion software is required, this service API Elastic Transcoder will be used.
So is it the same service which we need, like that when we download the videos from the YouTube?
Download videos to use YouTube. I am not sure.
No, from YouTube.
I'm not sure, but I know that I've read it somewhere. Netflix is using this. Netflix is using this because you can watch the video, and the video comes is exactly in the same correct format, even if you're watching that on a phone, on an iPad, on a TV. So it's that service. Um so Asha's comment is, the question is, the primary company buys it from AWS and then provides it to the secondary company. I think this question is about API. So API, yes. So the primary company buys the API service. Yes, so it buys the API, they make a software, and then they sell it to the other company. So transcoder pricing is based on per minute of output, and HD 2x with the price of SD, and audio and Eastern region, and these are different prices for transcoder conversion of this video. Okay, SNS we have already discussed. So this is the activity. You can create a bucket, and you can, so we did SNS with the billing process as well. Okay, so no, this is not all for today, guys. We'll take a 10 minutes break here, and right after the break, we will discuss a complete project strategy with this with AWS, and also we will basically also I will share with you one of the example of how the services can work together within AWS to make a complete system. Okay.
Anand?
Yes, please go ahead.
So I had a question about API. So the way you explained it was that a third party buys it from AWS, or I'm still kind of confused about the order, because
Okay, yes.
the the way I understand it is that like let's say the game example you said, right? The company will have AWS services, and then they can get APIs from AWS,
Mm-hmm.
and then another company would approach the primary company and then ask if they can use that API, right? Is that how
No,
it
no, no, no.
works?
No, it's a little different. It's a little different. So API is software. It's a door to it's a door to API to AWS services, where another company can may add more features to the service. So, for example, S3. And S3, there is already a backup service available. So it's up to a customer that they can use the AWS, they can use AWS backup service, or they're saying that the customer would come back to AWS saying that I'm not satisfied with your backup service, I need another service. What other services are on the table? So AWS would say, okay, so there are some third-party software that you can use to back up our service. Now those third-party companies that they are listed with AWS, they have a programs that can back up S3 by using their own software. But how can they back up? So let's say I gave you an example of Veeam. Veeam have their backup software. Veeam is a huge big company that has backup software, monitoring software, migration tools, and everything. But their backup software, how can it back up S3 if it doesn't have that access from inside AWS? So in order to for this backup software to be compatible with S3 service so that it can back up, they need that door open between Veeam software and AWS. So that door is called API. API, without API, they cannot go and apply backup services to S3 or EC2 or any other services within the cloud. So now, since Veeam goes to AWS, ask them, we need to provide a backup software for S3, and we can give you more features. So in order to do that, they need to provide us that low-level programming interface where they can go and add services within this. And then the customer would say, I'm not satisfied with your backup service. I'm going to go with Veeam backup. So they'll still be backing up S3, but using Veeam backup. So now, yes,
Okay,
Adnan,
that makes sense.
Adnan,
yes.
let's say S3 backup doesn't have a deduplication, and the VM provide the deduplication. So we can by using S3 backup and adding the feature, we can use API or no?
No, it's not like that. So your question is that can they use both of them and use that
Yeah,
one
yeah,
feature from
yeah.
that? No, no. It cannot. If you're using Veeam, you have to use Veeam for everything, for backup, restore, deduplication, and all those features. If you're using the other backup, then you'll have to, because your company can pay for only one backup service. If they're using AWS, then they'll be paying just AWS,
Let's say
right?
Commvault. So there is a API for Commvault, and we can use backup for Commvault, right?
Exactly. So at one time, your company will be using one of the backup. So if they're using Veeam, they'll be using Veeam.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys, let's take a 10 minutes break. And right after the break, we will start with our project exercise. Yay.
Ram bhai, आप still यहीं पे?
Okay, welcome back after the break, everyone. And so let's begin, everyone. So before I can begin, a quick question for everyone. How many of us here in this group were in Azure training? So if you were in Azure training, you can just type yes in the chat window. Um, you were in Azure training before, or so I have Ajmal, Asher, Ashish. Ashish was not there. Sheikh was not. Muhammad Sheikh was not there, and Human, Maria, Majbin. Okay. Okay. So guys, what we need to do is, first of all, I'll quickly take like 10-15 minutes here to explain, because in Azure, right at the end, we discussed this architecture. And this architecture basically will help understand that where all these services fit. We did that in Azure as well. And now I want to show you with AWS services that how AWS services fits in a real environment. So this is a quick example. I found that on the internet, but it is an excellent example understanding the services. Maybe all the services you might not be. So we might not be an expert of. Even I'm not an expert of, especially the DevOps side. But this will give you an overall idea of how all the AWS services fit in. And after that, we will discuss our project, and I will share with you the project details. So in a network, so now that we know that we have worked with S3 service, we have worked with the EC2 service, VPC, the networking service, storage service, the VM service, and we know a lot of services there. So let's see, put them in an example. Let's see, in a normal application or in a large application like Facebook application, Instagram application, it all starts with a simple website. So for even a simple website, a simplest website that we need requires at least one server and a connection to the internet. So first of all, we need to have connection to the internet, which is our private network, and then we create a web server inside. And within the web server, you would install either the Apache service or the HTTPD service. If it is a Linux service, if it is a Windows service, we will install IAS service. So in short, you do need a VM and then one web server and disk, and then you would need an IP address where people can connect to your web server and connect to your website. So this is just a very simple concept. We all understand that. We have all worked with that as well. And so where have we worked in this training? So we created EC2 instances in AWS, and then you install the HTTPD service and you access the website, or in Windows Server you install IAS service, then access the website. Is exactly the same thing. Now once the website starts expanding, you would need to expand it to another server, which is an application server. So there will be hosting the application. This is just a front end where you are connecting to your website. So just like a Gmail is a website or Google is a website, and in the background in the back end, there are many database servers. And once it starts expanding and more users connect to your website, then you would need a database server as well. So this is known as three-tier application. This is known as two-tier application, where you have front end on one server and the second server having application, but they are both used for the same application. This is why it is known as two-tier application, and this is known as three-tier application, where you have three tiers here: web server, application server, and then the database system where you're storing everything. Then once it is expands, so this is a journey of let's say a Facebook or Instagram. So once it starts expanding, you would need first load balancers. You would need more servers to provide more throughput for your customers. So for that, you will introduce a load balancer, and then you will introduce multiple nodes inside, multiple servers. So on the web server, you have multiple web server, multiple application server connecting to the database. And then definitely you would need a DNS service where you need to connect your company name, company website name with your web services. So so let's say this is a Facebook. Everyone connects to Facebook, but they are connecting to hundreds of servers in the background. So it's just one name that is connecting to their complete infrastructure. So that's what DNS services are. And then for NoSQL databases, you would require NoSQL database, which means that non-structured data can be stored in this database. Structured data can be stored in this database. You would also introduce DB cache in real environment, where you would need to speed up the transactions between the application and the database. So most frequently used transactions or the information will be stored in here, whereas less frequently or infrequently used information will be stored back in the database. Then you have something for the external storage. You would need external storage. So you cannot store everything within the internal disk. Internal disk will definitely not be enough for external storage files, which is video files, streaming files, or audio files will be stored in an external storage. In a physical data center, that external storage can be SAN storage or it can be any other storage. Other than that, you also need a content filtering. Content filtering is basically used for to filter the content, what type of data you want to store and what type of data you just want to you just want to delete or remove from your content here. And then you have clickstream analysis type of applications that will store that data for clickstream. Clickstream is basically a software that is used for marketing purposes. You gather people interest in your application and and store all that information within so this all goes through a clickstream. Clickstream is a software, and there are many other software that does the same thing, that basically finds out what is the mood of your customer, what is the requirement of your customer, and based on that requirement it gives you different type of suggestions and marketing information. So that clickstream information is stored in the storage and then further it will be sent to the warehouse where you can do some business intelligence on them. So business intelligence, meaning what type of ads you're looking at, and based on that ads, they will provide you the similar ads so that you can buy stuff from there. So this is a marketing information. And then plus for the external storage, you have video converter software that can convert with same video for mobile users and for practical needs, sorry, for your laptop users. So it can be two different type of video formats that can be used, and for that video converters will be used right here. And then then you can also assign content delivery network locations where the users can be so we learned that CDNs, which can be used for users who are accessing your website from different locations. So if the users are accessing from Asia, so your website content will be cached in their local data center so that they can access that information. So this is content delivery network. Then other than that, then you have notification service. So here you have notification services, email services, queuing service that works with the application, with the application for emailing, for different type of notification. Your disk is full, your application is not working properly, your RAM is your RAM your internal storage exceeds the storage within the disk storage and stuff like that. And then you have messaging queue service. Then you have monitoring dashboard to monitor all this information. And also you have some sort of ETL services as well. ETL is extract and So it was
Transform and load.
transform and load. Yes,
Yeah.
extract, transform, and load. This is the service that will be used to basically convert different type of data and store them in the warehouse services. So basically, this is an overall picture of how you see that in the real environment, and this is different components that we use in physical data centers. Now let's see that in how where you can apply all these services within using AWS. We did the same thing with Azure as well. There is a video that you can go back and look at the Azure video as well. So for the private network, we have VPCs. So we have VPC. You can have a VPC, which is virtual private cloud. So which is just a switch that can connect all these services together. Then for the VMs, you have EC2 instances with EBS. So EBS is Elastic Block Storage, which is the internal storage. We already know that. And then for auto scaling, to scale these VMs automatically out, we have auto scaling. You can enable auto scaling within them. It can automatically expand to 10 EC2 instances, and it can also remove the EC2 instances when they are not required. Then for the databases, we can use RDS database. So RDS is relational database system that is used. We know that it is used for structured databases. For non-structured, we can use DynamoDB, and for database cache, we can use Elastic Cache memory. For load balancer, we can use EBL, which is Elastic Load Balancer between these web interface servers. For DNS, we can use Route 53. So Route 53 and DNS is exactly the same thing. You can bind it, you can buy a name and then bind it with these all services. Then for external storage, we can use S3 buckets. For external storage, we can use S3 buckets here. These are the external storage. For content filtering, there is some software called Recognition. Recognition is for, this software is used for content filtering. We can use Recognition to remove objectable content from your whatever content that you need to filter from your storage. For the functions, for the conversion purposes, you can use Lambda service. For the clickstream analysis, you can use Kinesis service, where you can also download all your streaming data and then you can store them in DynamoDB. Also, this data is stored, sent to S3, and from there you can use EMR system. EMR basically is an Amazon Elastic Map Reduce system. So this system is basically used to regenerate or redistribute jobs into warehouse wherever they need to however it needs to be stored to. So it can be sent to the glue, which is the data factory for ETL if it needs to be transformed, or it can be sent to data warehouse which is Redshift in this case, and that can be sent to QuickSight or Athena. Athena and QuickSight is equal to Power BI, which is used in Azure. So Microsoft has Power BI, whereas in AWS they have QuickSight. QuickSight is where it's a reporting platform where you can apply intelligence to this data. Now, if we can connect all this, you're getting that streaming data. People are clicking all types of ads and all type of links within your website, and this data is being stored in S3. From there, it is sent to EMR. From EMR, it is sent to Redshift, which is a warehouse. From here, it is all analyzed, and you also getting analyzed data from here as well. And then you apply Athena as that software. Athena is that it's a SQL query tool which can work with QuickSight. So this is like this is mostly Athena is used for databases, for SQL queries, for very complex SQL queries. So if you've ever worked with the database, there is those select statement, update statement, delete statement. So it's that software. So it can extract data from Redshift, which is a warehouse. So you can think of here, tons and tons of data is stored in Redshift, and that data is being extracted using Athena. which is SQL statements, and send to QuickSight. So QuickSight gives you that meaningful reports which can help you make business decisions. So QuickSight and Power BI are the same software. So if you have a knowledge of Power BI, QuickSight is same thing in AWS. Then for the content delivery network, we have CloudFront and edge locations. So these are edge locations and CloudFront. CloudFront is basically the content delivery network. And if we can recall, we learned about CloudFront as being that location where if your website is hosted in US and users are accessing from China, for those users, it will be a kind of slow response when they're accessing a site hosted in US. So for that, we can deploy CloudFront and edge locations. Edge location is the user in Asia or in Australia, they can directly access the edge location. The website will be cached in here. The user will be accessing in a very fast or a normal pace as the US users are accessing the website in US. So CloudFront is a content delivery service that will provide you low latency and fast speed in order to access your websites. Then we have these other services for notification, the supporting services, SNS for notification. For email, it is SES, which is for emailing, and SQS for queuing service. And we have CloudFront, CloudTrail, and CloudFront for monitoring. Other than that, so this is an overall infrastructure. So this is how everything can fit in for one of the applications within your environment. Other than that, then you can also use API gateways. So API gateways are all third-party application APIs. You can use API gateway, and API gateway is used for REST APIs. REST APIs are software that can add more features. So basically, when a company comes to AWS saying that, we can provide more features within monitoring system, within backup system, within archiving system, so they need to buy API. Then they create scripting, they make scripting to add more features so that they can sell that software out in the market. For the security services, we have IAM services. And for security, we know that we can create a user, and then that user will be given access to wherever you need access for. So users can be provided access to EC2, Route 3, Route 53, can make changes. And within IAM, we have roles and policies as well. So we need to understand the difference between an IAM user and the role. So role is used when you need a permission between service to service. So if you need a permission between EC2 and S3, we will create a role inside IAM. When you need an interaction between a user and AWS service, then you would require IAM user. So we need to remember that for the real environment, that where would you need a role and user account. So it's very simple to remember. Between the two services, if you need access, you need a role to be created. And between a user and a service, that will be a user account, IAM user account. So that's a simple understanding. From there, you can create different type of security permissions. Then we have KMS, which is key management system, to apply encryption on all these different places. So you can apply encryption on EC2 instances, S3 buckets, SQS. So you can apply encryption anywhere within wherever you're storing some data within the service. Then other than that, we have something called ACM. ACM is a service which is Amazon Certificate Manager for encrypting communication between different services. So Certificate Manager is a service that is used to provide certificate services for your website. And we discussed that before, that HTTP is a normal website. So once you log into a website and it's just HTTP, it's all text-based website, as compared to another website that is HTTPS. HTTPS is a website, but it is all encrypted. So all encrypted. So in order to encrypt that website, we do need a certificate. So we do need a certificate. That certificate is provided by ACM, or mostly it is provided by third-party organizations. ACM is an internal service that can provide certificate, not used within AWS widely. I've not seen it used. And so why? Because these certificates are provided by these big website, VeriSign, VeriSign website. Then there is Endpoint website. There are many companies that are not many companies, actually there are few companies that are providing these certificates. Then other than that, you can also use WAF within the environment. The main purpose of the WAF is to protect the data, is to protect from outside attacks. So WAF is mostly one-way service. So all the data, it protects the data from outside. So all the attacks that you're getting from outside, WAF will protect you from there. This is Web Application Firewall. And Web Application Firewall, you will find that in all the companies, it is protecting you against the DDoS attacks. So DDoS attacks like distributed denial of service, where we learned that in Azure as well. But distributed denial of service attack is a service that is basically just clogging or your pipeline, your complete pipeline. So so here you have an internet connection. This will send you messages, and this will send you traffic, so that this complete pipe is full, and now you cannot get even the legit traffic into your environment. So now all of the cloud providers by default, they provide protection against DDoS attacks, but WAF can also provide it can also protect you from DDoS attack. Other than that, it will provide you with the scripting viruses. So it's a legit, let's say a legit script is coming, but is connected, is sent to your cloud, or maybe it transmitted some in some shape or form. Maybe a user is sending a file in an email, but it's in the script there is a virus. So WAF can protect you against that type of viruses as well, which is known as SQL injections or scripting attacks. So all types of attacks WAF will protect you from. So this is Web Application Firewall. Nowadays, this firewall is used this was introduced few years back, but now it is used with all the cloud providers and all of the clients as well. So wherever you see web application firewall, and you can look at this if on your own for F5. Maybe watch a few one or two YouTube video just to have some more knowledge about this. But all the companies that are connecting to any cloud provider, they're using WAF in their front end. So wherever the data is coming in, it goes through WAF, and WAF protects their inside of the network.
And the Azure also has a WAF, right?
Sorry?
The Azure?
Azure. Yes,
Yeah.
Azure will be using WAF as well, and GCP is using WAF, OCI is using WAF. All the cloud providers, they use WAF as their front door. So you can think of this is the gate where you enter your organization, and after that, all the other firewalls are there too. So WAF is the first one. So from the security context, we have IAM, we have KMS, we have ACM, which is certificate service, and WAF is Web Application Firewall. Now, on the development front, which is a DevOps services, this complete environment, you can make it bit by bit. I mean, you can first make EC2 instances, then you can connect them to the user, then you can deploy a database, then you can use Elastic Cache, then you can add the external storage, and you can connect them. And then you can enable all these services working with this. But you can also script this complete environment and just deploy that in 30 minutes. So maybe when you do it manually, it might take maybe 2 or 3 weeks to make all this. If you are making it in one shot, basically this type of environment is made in months, or maybe in a year, where in 1 year, or maybe when you are making based on your requirement. But if you need to make this environment for a dev test, or maybe as a disaster recovery side, you can use Formation. CloudFormation is part of DevOps, where you need a script developers. A developer will use their code builder, code deploy, code pipeline. So this is all part of DevOps. They can also use the project management tool, and they can use IaaC, which is infrastructure as a code, to deploy all this using templates. And this is all done by developer, DevOps, and QA team. They will make sure that everything is fine. So we as cloud admin or cloud architect will be working with them when they're working on the infrastructure. Because basically we need to provide our input as well, that how many VMs can be used within this environment. For this Facebook or Insta application, how many VMs, how many storage would it require to run this environment? Okay, excellent, guys. So this is a quick. I found that on the internet, but I thought maybe this will be an excellent way of understanding the services that we have worked on. You can also go through this. This is all recorded. So if you have any questions, you may ask.
So now I have a quick question. So who is responsible to design this kind of picture? Like the cloud architect or the team owner?
Yes, so it is done by cloud architect. So this type of architecture involves first of all infrastructure architect, then a cloud architect, application architect, and solutions architect. So three or four different type of architect will sit together. They will design this application. So being a cloud architect, my responsibility is EC2 environment and the storage. I don't know anything about databases, but what I can do, I can give them insights. There are these types of databases. It will be for them to decide that if they need RDS or they need DynamoDB. Same goes for the software as well. Same goes for the data architect. Data architects are responsible for completely this layer, where Kinesis will be used, EMR is used, Redshift will be used, and then Power BI. So they need to make some intelligence reports, business intelligence reports, or IA report, so artificial intelligence. So different type of architects will sit together and make this architecture.
Adnan, you said bit by bit we can create all these objects, you said, but how we will do this Kinesis and then EMR, how we will do all this?
So just like I said, that this is done by based on decisions that are taken, but in order to make that in the infrastructure, it's just like how we made the Redshift. So we will just go into Kinesis and just build an environment. It will ask you a few questions. We can try that out after this. But the important thing is that you do need their input. We cannot decide that what so this will be a decision of data architect. It's not a decision of cloud architect.
And what is that? Athena is like Power BI, you said?
Athena is Power. Actually it's a SQL tool to query the database. So it's not a Power BI. Power BI equivalent is QuickSight.
Okay.
And then one more thing I think I got up. You said one time, like this kind of architecture implementation takes like 3 to 4 weeks. And also you said like it can be happen like 30 minutes. So 30 minutes means like the automation developer or something?
Yes. So in 30 minutes, this can be done through CloudFormation. So CloudFormation, everything will be scripted. So meaning we need 4 EC2 instances with auto scaling on, with EBL, load balancer, with Elastic Cache, with RDS. So this all needs to be scripted, that how this all be connected together. Once it is scripted, then it will take 30 minutes. I mean, maybe for scripting, it might take some time to basically come up with a design and then script all that using templates and everything. But once you run it, it will take only 30 minutes to deploy all these services.
Oh, okay. So scripting, the DevOps team, they will develop, right?
Yeah. So scripting, everything will be developed by DevOps. Yes.
So my question is like nowadays every single job there is a line added there, like PowerShell scripting. we need to know. So do you have any idea, anyone in the class, like how can we get the jump start into PowerShell and know the basics, like because
Copy and
it's almost in every job requirements nowadays.
copy and paste.
Well, yeah, but that's easy. But like when they ask you how you gonna run it.
No, the question is what or how, what level of knowledge we need as a cloud admin for the PowerShell.
Yes.
So do we need to have a
So
mid or expert level?
yes, so there are two things here with PowerShell. First of all, PowerShell, always remember, uh, just 2-3 years back, PowerShell was required in all of the job requirements, and PowerShell knowledge and the person with the PowerShell is preferred as a system admin or a cloud admin. But then PowerShell, because of PowerShell, there used to be there were some incidents within large infrastructures. So what now is that what the job requirement says, you do need to have a PowerShell experience and knowledge, but in practical, PowerShell is used by only maybe the developers. So mostly it is used by developer who are scripting this organization, who are scripting the complete architecture. Now, going back to that question, so there is a risk of using PowerShell, and when PowerShell is used in organization, that requires special permissions from the management, that you're running a script in an environment and that script is harmless and that script is tested 10 times and then you're running it. So that's one side of that. But the other side is that all the job requirements are required PowerShell, and how much do you need to know about PowerShell? So guys, if you have gone through my video for AWS CLI, within AWS CLI, I explained that nowadays you don't build a code. So we already get ready-made codes from everywhere. So the first thing that you need to know about PowerShell is the basic command structure. So in order to learn the basic command structure, all you need to do is watch 2 or 3 YouTube videos, which I can just share right now. That PowerShell is a command line interface where you can run the commands, and each command is known as a commandlet and all that. So you need to have that basic understanding of a PowerShell command syntax. So the people who are working in the in IT environment, like making let's say you're running a PowerShell command against Active Directory. In order to get the list of
Exactly,
all of
yes.
the users, you just say get users. Get AD users, and then you can run this, or maybe you can run this command. So it's really easy to understand PowerShell. But when it comes to large scripting, guys, large scripting is not required anywhere at the moment. Yes,
Yeah, and that's not even allowed to. Yeah.
yeah, that's not even allowed, but you need to have this basic understanding of PowerShell, number one. Number two, if a script is given to you, you should know how to read that script and how to apply that in your environment.
Exactly,
So when
yes.
you go for the interviews, have this basic understanding of PowerShell. So each command in PowerShell is known as a commandlet. And what is the syntax of, so all the PowerShell command starts with a verb and a noun type of get user or delete user or new dash something. So if you know this much of information, I would say basic information, this is required for a cloud admin. Otherwise, everything is done within the cloud infrastructure. Even if you know PowerShell, I'm 100% sure your manager, your IT team lead would say, do not use PowerShell, because one PowerShell command can shut down your complete system. One wrong PowerShell command can shut down your complete system. So to answer the question, yes, you do need basic understanding of this, and for the interview purposes. And other than that, you don't need to write any code. Nowadays, nobody writes the code. If you look at the Azure documentation as well as AWS documentation, both provide all types of scripts. So wherever they provide you help, they will show you that how it can be done from the console, and also how it can be done through CLI. Also, they will also give a complete command line of PowerShell. So you don't need to know this, but you need to just take that command, change it according to your need, and run it.
Yeah, that's the challenge, to changing that command. So if you can share some videos, with the basic, then it will really help.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Sure, I'll write that and I will share it to you. I think I did that. I did that when showing you CLI. I copied the command right from the console and then run it in CLI. Because CLI, it cannot be run without these commands. But I'll check that out. If it is not there, definitely I'll share with you those commands as well.
Thank you.
Adnan,
Yes, please go ahead.
um, that was, I think, that was my question also for PowerShell, because I'm very behind on PowerShell. But I watched that video. Yes, there is some, but it's still to to when do we know which command to take it out and which command to add, that sort of thing. But you said you're going to do a video, so I'm not going to go into that much.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for
on this
sure.
diagram that we are watching on the laptop, the listing, when the boss is going to give you, or you're going to give us, okay, go make EC2 storage, adding route 53, how they line up this thing. What was the first one, was the second, third, fourth, is
Okay. Okay,
how
sure.
they give us assignment or to build up the whole thing.
Right.
I think the building up is a job of architect. We should be only managing it, right?
No.
No, but brother, I think he's talking about like how to start even this project. Like for example, maybe you have to start with virtual private cloud, and then how you to
Yes.
put the place the things like where you want to place what.
Exactly. Yes. So it's a very good question, and so for that reason, I've shown you the architecture, and shortly I will share with you a complete project document that I made for this, for your experience, to where this all starts from. So everything in cloud starts from a simple request. So let's say you get a one request. So most of the time, just like what Atif said, that our work is to manage the environment. Most of the time when you will be you will be employed as a cloud admin, everything is there. All you need to do is to make sure that it is working fine, and sometimes you do need to provision an EC2 instance, and sometimes you need to provision S3 storage and all that. So you do need to know the technology, and you do need to know how to delete something, how to add something, and how to make. So it will be very rare where they would ask you to make a complete architecture. Okay, so that won't be the case, but you will still need to know but you will still need to know that how these requests start from. So all these requests, they start from a simple request. So as a cloud admin, once you're on the job, you will be providing a ticketing system. Within a ticketing system, you will start getting requests. So on a cloud admin level, you will be working on different requests. Today, create 4 EC2 instances with this network setting, with this IP addressing. You will go and you will deploy it. You will work on that. Other than that, create a blob storage or a S3 storage, and then assign permissions to that person and make sure that person is being accessed. So this is the type of scenario you will be working as a cloud admin. Now, before I can start sharing this, so to answer your question, Riaz, this is a complete document that I made, where you can start with making a root account, then create users, then create billing alerts, then create a complete VPC here. And then, so this is basically you're making the complete infrastructure on your own. So everything that we have learned in this training, so this is the project that you need to complete. If you're able to complete this project, basically you're ready for the real environment as well. Before I can start
We
with
have
this,
to,
yes.
sorry. So you mean to say we have to start like creating an account, like because we already have all this
No,
building
it's fine.
alerts and
Yes. So you need to, I want you to start from making an IAM account, new IAM
okay,
account, and working with that new IAM. You don't need to make a root account.
okay.
Okay. But before that, one more thing that everyone, I would say that since now you know 40 or 50 services of Azure and 40 or 50 services of in AWS as well. So if you collect all these services, so why am I saying 40 or 50 services? In S3, there are 2 different type of services. So those are 3 services. So object level storage, block level storage. Then within object level storage, there is standard type of service. Then so going into that granularity, 40 or 50 type of services. I would say with this complete training, if you can become an expert of these 150 services plus the GCP that we are going to learn, guys, you will become an awesome, excellent cloud admin. So this will be a very, very good start for all of you. So I would say focus only on this. Forget about cloud formation. Forget about the automation within the within this environment. This next 3 months, become an expert of everything what we have learned. This will definitely benefit you.
And the follow-up question was, you're right. We went through at least 40, 50. In each S3 has 5 services or instance. In the exam, how, because there's a multiple question answers for one.
Right.
Is there a way to connect the practical we did all these weeks to the exam?
I think exam and practical has a very little connection. Very little connection. So Riaz, I think you already finished Azure. Did you finish Azure?
I didn't give it what do you
Oh,
call
you didn't went for the exam.
Exam, no, but I did a lot of services, but then I'm focusing more on here because on Azure I have some issues, personal issues, so I couldn't able to do that. So, but on this one, like I said, when I call you, I'm doing much better.
Okay.
On
Okay.
AWS. So my worried is now about the exam because.
Okay. Okay, so Riaz, I would say there are many people sitting here who went for the exam, and many people just went for the first time. I would say just for the sake of just going through it, go for the exam and just go from the question. I mean, the more you try to connect your understanding with the exam, the more it becomes difficult. I think other people can also give their opinion on this, that what is the best way of going through the exam. But without the exam, this has no value. So who wants to add to this? What is the best technique to go for the exam?
I think in Azure, because no, in Azure, as brother Amin, whatever provided, the questions are almost 95% were from the dumps. But actually, I really want to ask you, brother Adnan, is any of your student has passed the AWS, and I want to get his feedback if he used those dumps or anything, so we can trust them, because Azure was fine. Because
we are waiting for you. We are waiting for you. You go exam, and then we will go.
You know, like only one thing. If we can ask Amin bhai to check for the latest dumps, because these were like at least 4 weeks old. So if we can get the latest dumps, so that would be
okay.
really
Sure, I'll ask him, but I'll go back to my question so that we can kind of help out Riaz to how to prepare the best way for the exam. So
brother Riaz, I think you have to, as brother Adnan also said before, that you just have to ratne ka, I think you have to remember every answer the way it is.
Don't understand. Don't try to understand.
So guys,
because it has very, like Adnan bhai said, there's a very little connection between the exam and the practical. You won't.
That is true. Very true.
Practical.
It's like a back home, when you're engineering or intermediate, you're Ratamar.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I actually attempted in 2017 that exam, and it's more like most of them are scenario-based questions. There are only, I think, 30 to 35.
Are you talking about AWS or Azure?
AWS.
Okay, and then the questions, all the scenarios. So that means you did not have dumps and all.
No, I don't have any dump at that time. So I just tried it. I got 55%, but most of them are scenario-based. Like I would say 50 to 60% are scenario-based questions.
Yeah, you know what? I would say let's go with the dumps,
And go with the dumps.
Try to understand like whatever it is.
Okay, so
80-90% dumps are good.
We will rely on brother Atif. First, you have to go, brother.
yeah, definitely. Like I was planning to go, but like for last couple of weeks, I'm really going busy, So as soon as I get time, I'm definitely gonna go, and that's why I'm asking to get the latest version of the dump, so we can just go through that.
I'll try to find
Brother,
someone who went for the exam. I think there are a few students who went for the exam and they cleared that as well. So
that's the what I wanted to ask. Yeah, brother Adnan, please like ask some of your students who has given the exam. I just want to get their feedback if they
sure,
use the dumps and
I
it
will.
was really good.
I will for sure. So Riaz, do you have any more questions on this?
No, I'm when it comes to the practical, like a lot of people mention, like so many people. I watch your videos and back and forth, and try to work out through that. But then my struggle was how the exam will come up. So there
Right.
I came across some videos in YouTube that the guy was suggesting that instead of going this one, go for the one below, which is I don't remember the number because
Right.
I'm not at home. I'm office. I wrote it down there.
That's a
If you do
practitioner exam.
a practitioner exam, so you will
Right.
get the understanding and you will be confident enough for the next one
No,
because
no,
you
no,
already
no.
did the practical.
No. Riaz, I would say it's like you just go through one exam and trust me, rest of the exams will be easier for you. So these exams are all, for now, it is a huge big thing for you because you've never been through this. Have you ever been to a certification exam before, other than academics? So any certification exam?
I did a Scrum Master.
Okay. Okay.
But,
Okay. So once you go through this exam, this will definitely, I mean, you won't know until you try it. And there are
right.
many people sitting here in this group, they already got the certification. Right? But please do
Sure.
not
Thank you.
relate it to the the training or the practical. Exam, it's a separate entity. Okay.
Yeah, true. And brother Riaz, don't overthink it. Just go for it. Don't worry.
Yes. Yes. Just go for the dumps and just go for the exam.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Hafiz. I'll be calling a lot of you guys. Trust me.
For sure, for
Sure,
sure,
no
no
problem.
problem. Okay, so guys,
Yeah.
here, so today's, so this is the architecture that we need to make. Yes, Ajmal, go ahead.
How do we design that? Any software you have? How do we, the Visio diagram? How do you make Visio diagram?
Yes,
Can you make a video for that, Anand, please?
Which
How
one?
to
Which one?
use
Which
that
one?
video to please? I tried and then I was just
Visio, you mean the Microsoft Visio software?
No. That you sent us a link in the last lab, like when we were
The
doing the video lab.
draw.io, draw.io.
Yes. So if you can just make a video for that, like 10 minutes video,
No,
like
no,
how to use it.
I was really fed up with that software because that was not working for me. So what I did, I made this diagram manually. So I made it in. So I'll show you. I mean, this is a good software. I mean, if you can spend a lot of time with this, changing a lot of stuff, because some icons are not available in this. So the icons that we need
Yeah.
to make. So what I did, I made this by using the normal icons. So I haven't used so this is just a normal circle, sorry, a square. And then there is another square. Then I use the icons here. I can share with you all of the icons so that you can make your own diagram. That I can do.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
that would help.
Okay. Okay, no problem. I'll share with you all of these icons so that you need to make a project document. So let's first understand this project. I need your 10-15 minutes, everyone. Without understanding, it will be a very difficult assignment for you. So I would call this, this is not a basic level architecture. This is a little bit advanced architecture, but not very advanced architecture. So if you're able to do this, this will be an excellent experience, and also it gives you a confidence as well. Okay, so first of all, we all know that that this is a type of architecture or a project that we need to make within AWS. Okay, and this type of architecture is known as AWS hub and spoke topology. Hub and spoke topology is a network strategy. It's a network topology. First of all, I need to know how many people are sitting here. Please type yes in the chat window just once so that I know that how many people are sitting here. Guys, this project is very, very important. This, you can say that all the money, everything that you have spent in this training, that will basically that will basically, Atif said 13. Okay, Atif, what is 13? It's a number that is not
13
available.
people are sitting.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so it's 13 people are sitting here. Excellent. I just wanted to say that okay, so this project is very important, guys. So this is called hub and spoke topology. Hub and spoke topology is where you have a management network. So this is our management network. You are connected from internet and connecting to AWS cloud, and this is the same network that you will find with all the organizations. All organizations are nowadays using hub and spoke topology. So you don't want to expose all your servers directly to the internet. So all these servers are inside your environment, whereas you will create first a VPC, which is a network which is called a management network. So there are names for these networks. You need to take snapshots whenever you create these, networks. So according to the document, everyone, according to the document, you need to name them. You need to take screenshots and put them in the project document. You need to submit it to my email address. I will share my email address with you. So this is called a hub and spoke topology. Hub and spoke topology, this is known as hub network, whereas these are spoke networks. So this is spoke number 1, this is spoke number 2. Spoke networks are used for application purposes. As you can see, this is a spoke VPC. I know it's a little bit blur here, but you can see that. I think you can get the idea. This is an application.
Question. Sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, question. So if we are talking about spoke, is it the subnet or is it a different VPC?
We are talking about spoke. It's a VPC, separate VPC. It's not a subnet.
Oh
Okay.
my God.
So this is VPC 1, this is VPC 2, this is VPC 3, then this is subnet 1, this is subnet 2, this is subnet 3. So in blue, these are subnets and these are VPCs.
Okay. So how we will make two VPC communicate by peering or what?
By peering. So it's just a simple
Okay.
peering. So this is, here you can see this diagram saying VPC peering, and VPC peering. So you need to create peering as well. So first of all, let me show you that how this can be made. So first of all, you will start with, so making sure that you will start with a project document with the name and also start making this infrastructure. So very first thing that I want you to do is to create IAM users. So IAM users, if I can show you right here. So it's in here. So it starts with, in this lab, you will be working as a cloud administrator for Nextware Technologies. You will be helping them building their first cloud infrastructure. The expectations are that you must have very good understanding of cloud models, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, utilizing AWS cloud services that include EC2, S3, VPC, directory services. So create a Word document that with the file name, your name. So please make sure that this is followed accordingly, your name and 360 Cloud AWS project, and it will be due in 10 days. So this is the architecture right here, and it starts from, you will create your IAM user. So new IAM user, so that when you take a screenshot, that new IAM user will be shown on the top. So the new IAM user, not your existing IAM user. So once you make this IAM user, make this user admin, and then start with the lab. So here you need to create 4 different users. So Tina with programmatic and console access, Adam with programmatic console access, Dave with just programmatic access for AWS CLI, then John with both type of access.
I think these users are already there in our console.
Okay, if these users are there, just take a screenshot. I would say delete everything and start from the beginning. Start from scratch.
Start from the scratch.
So
yeah, start from the scratch.
Yeah, I'm not asking you to create a new root account. So that maybe it's another hassle, but if you can just clean everything, clean the security groups, clean IAM users, clean policies, I mean, custom policies, don't delete the default settings, don't delete the default VPC. So I think Noshin is not here. She accidentally deleted the default VPC and she was not able to connect. So we had to rebuild the default VPC and then we recreated the routing table as well. So don't delete anything default, but whatever you created, just delete them all.
I have one more question.
Yes.
I want to add AD server domain controller. Where should we add it? The which VPC?
I haven't added Active Directory in this because already this is very complex. This is very complex architecture. If you are able to complete this, then I can share with you the next level, which involves Active Directory, which involves AD connector and
Oh,
everything.
okay,
So
right.
I haven't added this domain controller. If the domain controller will be there, it will be in the spoke network right here within
Oh,
this, not in the management network.
okay, right.
So all the instructions are here. Instructions are high level instructions. Here I said you need to create a budget. There is a video. You can go back to the video and work with the video. You need to also create a role between EC2 to S3. There is a video for this. You need to create the following groups here with the policy. Attach the policy with the group. Video is there. The member is John for this group. Member is Adam. If you can work in groups, that will be excellent. So 2 or 3 groups, 2 or 3 people group, it will be excellent. I think you might be working in a group or maybe in working individually. Guys, I would say work in a group and help someone who is not expert enough, because when you help someone, that will basically make you master in this. Okay. uh, and in the chat, since we are all here, just type here that who needs help with this, so that we can attach people with the people. Or I know some of you can do this all on their own, but if you can work with someone, so make your own and also help someone to troubleshoot and just bring them up to speed, that will be excellent for you as well, and for the other person as well. There are these VPCs that you need to make. So there is a create a VPC. So first of all, this is VPC for the management network, the hub network, and there is only one subnet in this. And the subnet is 11.0.0.0. Okay. And then you have VPC second for the spoke network, which is, and there are 3 subnets in this. 3 subnets in the spoke, as you can see within the diagram here. So there are 3 subnets here. So according to the architecture here, the numbering is here too. The subnet is 11.0.0.24 for the management network. This is for the application network, and these are for the databases network. And remember that databases are sitting in their own subnets. So there is this RDS database. You need to create a VM inside, which is VM04. This is VM05. You can make all this within the environment. Let me go through.
Here's a
So
question. Sorry.
yes, please
Sorry.
go ahead.
Question. So the public IP will be with only one, and everyone will be having private IPs, or there will be public IPs for all the things.
Yes, it's a good question. So the public IP will only be provided to, so to start with, so public IP will be only be provided to ideally just for these 2 VMs in the management network. So public IP will be with this Linux Bastion machine, and then Windows Bastion machine, or Bastion machine. How does this rhyme? So these two has public IP address, whereas all these are not public IP address. You need to access them. So this is a big challenge, guys. This is a big challenge where you need to create a Windows machine, and there is a full video on this as well. So you need to connect from here to here. You need to open security group between these two in here. Initially, I started with a very basic diagram, but I think that you're all on this level to understand all this. You should be able to build all this. It will require a bit of a frustration. You'll need to go to that frustration of connecting these, but you should be able to do it. I mean, for me, it was really easy that I can make all this infrastructure within one VPC and one subnet. But that doesn't give you any challenge. You are making all this and connection, all this. If there won't be any challenge, and there won't be any real experience. But this is a real life experience. You will, if you're able to do that, you will be able to understand any diagram in any organization.
Another question, like all this which we will be doing sitting in our AWS cloud, it will be charged something because at 10 to 15 days it will be sitting there?
No, why would you need to put it for 10 to 15 days? Yes, it will be charged. Yes, it will. There will be charges on this. So don't make it in that manner. Yes, we need to somehow understand or maybe do it. How many things can be charged in this? So yes, so what you can do, you can shut down. As long as your environment is up and shut down, you won't be charged for
Okay.
anything.
So EC2 will be shutting down all the EC2s.
Yes, EC2 instances, shut down all the EC2 instances.
Adnan,
Okay.
Yes.
why we have a application in three subnet?
So I mean, this is just simulating that you have three different type of applications. So
Got it.
three different type of applications sitting in three different type of subnets. So this is the first part of this. So if you can look at this here, so you have IAM users, then you will create a VPC here. Then within VPC, you will create a subnet, which is this subnet, and then create two virtual machines here, EC2 instances. And please make sure names are exactly this. IP addresses will be automatically given. So once you have these, then you will create the second VPC, which is this one. Actually, you will be creating all the VPCs in the first shot in the task number 3, where you will be creating VPCs and subnet. That it's just that when you create a EC2 instance, make sure on the configuration screen it stays in this subnet. Select the VPC, select the subnet. Then they will be in the right location. Other than that, then you have the third VPC, which is a database VPC. Now, in order to understand hub and spoke, guys, the main idea behind hub and spoke is to expose only these two servers to internet, and all other servers are not exposed to internet. So anything that comes here, connect here. So from here, you should be able to connect to all these systems and access these systems inside.
Another
So I
question.
think only the gateway, everything has to be defined only on the first VPC. Gateway and routing
yes,
tables.
Yes, because you are using, yes, there is a gateway and routing table for the first one. And other than that, there is peering between the other VPCs.
Yeah.
Adnan,
Yes.
is it possible to ask you to number this? Number 1, this, do this, or is it cheating?
No, it is already here. It's already, I mean, this is just an architecture, but you will be following this document. So first you will do this.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then you will do this, and then you will do everything else.
Thank you.
So you're following this document, but this is just an architecture. I'm just thinking for the databases, if you need to connect them from your laptop, then you need to provide a public IP address. So for this one, you need to provide a public IP address, but for these two, you need to install. So this is Microsoft SQL. You need to install Management Studio on this machine and then connect to this. So you don't need a public IP address on this. And this is Aurora DB. You need to install that Cloudberry software here. And then you will connect to the Aurora DB. Okay.
Cloudberry or Bench? What is Cloudberry?
Sorry, Cloudberry is that storage explorer. Yes, so that Workbench software.
Workbench. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is Workbench software. So this is the first part, everyone. This is the first part. What was it? Webbench?
Workbench.
Yes, Workbench. So
something like that.
Second part is this. Second part is the EC2 and storage services. So storage services, again, you have it's the same network. It's just showing you the storage services where you will create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buckets and another bucket in another region. And then you will access this bucket from Cloudberry software. Cloudberry software is used just like a software, just like a Windows Explorer, but you can connect from your PC to a bucket. Rest of the buckets, so this one is a versioning. This bucket will be used for the versioning exercise. This is used for the policies. There are videos for all these, so you can just go back and watch the video and complete this. You need to also do the replication, this bucket, and here you need to apply lifecycle management policy. So these are the two architecture diagram with the project document. Guys, please take them seriously and complete the project, and you need to share with me the file next week in 10 days.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Any questions? Any questions at all?
So,
So yes.
DB also we have to shut down, right? So that it won't be charged.
Which one? DB?
DBs.
DB, you
All
can.
those.
Yes, so you won't be charged. I think DBs are not charged. Their storage is charged. So once you start storing something in them, then it will be charged, but I'm not 100% sure. Just have a look at this.
I think it will charge.
The DB will be charged if
Yes.
you, so is there anything to shut down the DB? I'm just thinking. So I don't think so. There is DB, once it is made, you cannot shut it down. What you can do it in one shot. So if you're spending like 1 or 2 hours with the DB, just complete the DB steps and delete them. This is task number 11 actually. So you can just do it, take screenshots, put it in the project document, and that's it. So take screenshots with everything. So you have also
Inshallah.
auto scaling here also available. You need to do auto scaling. This is the video. So I've just provided one link, but there are all those other videos that you need to do. I also have an advanced, a more advanced version of this, but if you are able to complete this, then I think I'll share it with you.
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay.
And one more question.
Yes.
Bashan, let's say in a company Bashan, but it's a Windows machine, right? So only 2 guys can log into the Bashan machine, and then so how come the if we have a 10 administrator, how do they connect?
Yes, so Bashan by default, there are only 2 people can log in because of the terminal services limitation. But when you have to do 10 people need to be logged in, then you need to buy terminal services licenses. So those are, you need to buy those licenses from Microsoft, and Microsoft will provide you terminal services license, and then 10 people can log in and then connect inside the network. But also remember,
Or build a new machine.
sorry?
Or build the more machine, 5 machines.
Or you can build more machines, but you know, the main idea behind this is that in this house, there should be only 1 door or maximum 2 doors. If you have more doors open, then you need to protect them, then you need to, right? So that's the idea behind management. Otherwise you can open more. So and also remember that this network is only used for the people who are accessing from outside. So most of the time we admins are sitting in the office accessing the environment, so we don't need this network. So it will be like maybe from home when you're connecting and logging in. Actually nowadays it suits well that where a cloud admin needs to connect, but there are only 1 or 2 cloud admin mostly. In large organization there might be 5 cloud admin that need to have access. So it's not a big issue if it has 2 licenses or more licenses.
Okay, yeah, we can ping the environment, right? You're right.
Right. So everyone, I will share the architecture diagram. Actually, this complete project document, I am expecting that please finish this document. Now the question for you is that would you be able to complete that by next week, or you want to complete it before we can start GCP?
Next 7 days is good. Yeah, next week.
I think you should give us one more class after this week. So if we have any question, if we got stuck somewhere.
Okay. So what we'll do is next Saturday, we'll review this, not review. So whatever you have made, we will discuss all that. Wherever somebody is stuck, we will help and troubleshoot. So Saturday, we will do that complete lab for this. Okay, so don't get me wrong here. Don't get confused that we won't be doing from scratch. We won't be building anything on Saturday. We'll be just going through the troubleshooting steps. So please work on this complete lab during this time. And Muhammad said that he's available for anyone to help. I think Atif, Ajmal, everyone is available, and we all should help out each other. So if you have any questions, take a screenshot, put it in the in the WhatsApp group. Okay. And shortly, Ashar asked a question, is that in the drive? Shortly I will be uploading this files in the drive as well.
Okay, now what you said is like, the people will be in the internal network, how it is, because AWS is sitting on the cloud, people will be on the on-premises, right? I think everybody who will be, they have to access these machines. So maybe you need a terminal server on the bastions so that they can access the things.
Right. So in order to answer that question, once our network is connected to the cloud, you know that there is a site-to-site VPN or direct connection between on-premises and and the cloud. So we don't need Bastion for that, right? So it's we already have a direct connection. Everybody is logging into the network. This is only required when you don't when you're not logging into the network and you just need to connect to the servers and do something. So Bastion is not used for even the databases. It is and not used for the S3 storage. Bastion is only used when you need to log into the server and only when you have to troubleshoot something. So otherwise it is always they're not used.
I think it's for the vendors or consultant.
It is for the consultants or the people or contractors who are connecting. Okay. So
office people will be connected with a direct connection.
Yeah. So for all of the users, they all have access to the cloud. So no need for the logging into Bastion here. Okay, guys.
How many projects? This is the one entire project, right? Do you have more project for the AWS, or this is the one?
No, this is the main one. If you're able to complete this, that will give me a lot of satisfaction. Also, it gives you a satisfaction as well. So there was one project in Azure, and this is a project for AWS. There will be one more for GCP at the end.
All right, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
There's another bucket one. We have to do that. The another one you're showing, right? This one is also a part of this, right?
This is so two diagrams are part of this, and this is all here within this document. So both diagrams are here. So that you can follow. So don't, I mean, diagram is there for you to have a look at the diagram. So diagrams are here as well, but follow the steps, follow all of the tasks here. Okay, so both diagrams are here. So when you make your project document, guys, try to make it look real for the real environment. You can put screenshot as much as possible, and also try to make a based on your best effort, make a diagram as well. So I will share with you this document, and also I will share with you a presentation which has all of the icons, so that you can make your own diagram using those icons. Okay.
Brother, I think this document you can send us by WhatsApp right away.
I can also share it with WhatsApp right away, and also I'll put it in the drive as well.
Yeah, that would be also good. Thank you.
Okay, excellent, everyone. So good luck with this this project document. We all are ready to help out each other, guys. Whenever somebody asks a question, somebody wants to be on the phone, please try to help them out as well. And we are expecting that this should be finished before the next lecture. Saturday we'll have a troubleshooting class.
So the tomorrow next class will be on Saturday. There was no class on Friday, right?
Oh, I'm saying so. Mine
Friday and Saturday.
Yes, so my is Saturday and Sunday. So your is for next class is on Friday. Yes, same time.
Yeah, Friday.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Friday we have class, and Saturday there's no class, right?
Friday we have class. Depending on Friday's class, how many people have finished this, then we can start with GCP on Sunday. On Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
everyone. Thank you, everyone, and I will share these documents with you.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa
Walaikum
rahmatullahi wa
assalam.
barakatuh.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adnan.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Office.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I
Yes,
have a quick
Ashok.
question about the MCSA class. Do
Oh,
we
yes.
change the schedule to Tuesday, Thursday?
No, sorry. Just for this one Tuesday, just for this coming Tuesday, because I'm busy on Monday. The schedule is same, just for
Okay.
this Tuesday.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And then I have one question for the MCSD. And then,
Yes, please go ahead.
So do you have anything for the pre-cloud? I don't need to learn like all about the MCSD. how about the as less as required for the cloud? Do you have anything as a like course?
So your question is that what is the minimum that is required for being MCSA,
Cloud admin.
right?
No,
So,
no, my target is cloud admin, not the MCSA.
yeah, right. So, okay. So at least for even the cloud, you need to learn a little bit about the server. But if you already know what is a Windows server, how do you log in, how do you set up the IP addresses, then that is enough. That is enough. But you need to take at least one 740 training if you're new to IT environment.
One what? One?
740. There is an exam called 70-740 that is for servers administration. If you want to attend that, I will be running a workshop for this in next month. So if you are interested, you just join into that workshop. That will be enough for understanding servers.
So this is for the Windows admin.
Yes, so Windows admin, it will, so in that workshop, we will learn 2008 server, 2012, 2016. So all of the servers and how do they work together. So that's minimum at least you need to know.
How many weeks that class is?
It's again 6 weeks. All courses are 6 weeks, 2 days a week.
6 weeks. What's the exam name and then one?
It is called 70-740. But the training that I run, it is, so within 6 weeks, we will learn more than 740. So we will be working with all versions of Windows. So the idea in that workshop is that somebody, so I run that workshop every 2 or 3 months. So the idea is somebody who's new, they should have a very good idea of servers.
That is correct. Okay.
Okay.
And other one more thing, like for practicing Active Directory in VMware, so what is the 16 gigs RAM is okay? Like I want to learn the Active Directory in
for Active Directory. Active Directory, yes, Active Directory. So all you need to do, create one VM and then provide 2 GB of memory, and that will be enough for this.
Oh, but I have a 16 GB.
16 GB.
Is okay. Laptop is okay, right?
So, but if you want to learn Active Directory, I can share with you my videos here. And if you can follow those videos, it will ask you to create Active Directory, as well as you will create a failover cluster. Everything is there. So it's 6-7 videos. If you just follow those videos, you will learn a lot from there for Active Directory.
Just wondering that kind of work. That kind of work is the 16 GB laptop is okay, or you need more?
16 GB with SSD drive. If you,
SSD,
then it's excellent. So you just bought that laptop, or you had it from before?
I just bought it after like your course. Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to buy a big server, like for your course. No, just kidding.
No. Don't buy a big server. Just have a good laptop, and that
SSD and 16 GB, I think enough for the active. Active.
So if you can follow these 11 videos, if you're looking at the screen, just follow these 11 videos here. I am showing you to make.
I can't see your screen.
Oh, sorry.
No, this is only for me. Please don't shake it. Don't.
So it's right here. It is these videos. So this is failover cluster. I'll share with you.
Yeah.
And here we made the infrastructure. We also made Active Directory in this. So if you can follow this complete infrastructure, so 2 servers with Active Directory, that will give you a good use of your, good experience with Active Directory.
Awesome.
Brother, please share the links. Please share the videos, links, and all, and we'll see if we have time. We can go through.
Sure. I am sharing that. I'm sharing that right now.
And also, very. For sure, please get a feedback of somebody who has passed the AWS recently.
So I will. Yes, I will. I'll post a message within the group. I have a group though for all of the IT professional, all my previous students. If you want, I can add you to that group as well.
Yes, Please add me. Please add me.
So you may ask, you can ask all the technical questions, anything. So whoever is available, they can, and I'll post a question over there as well, and I'll add you there. Okay.
Please and thank you. Yes.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. Inshallah.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum assalam.